Crystal. Sorry, I'm not showing anything yet because the DM is still setting some things up. But we back. We doing this. Um, Probably going to be pushing out a lot more stuff, etc., etc., etc. I might make YouTube more of a video thing and start going back to Twitch now that I kind of have my foundations good to go. But we're gonna see. We're gonna figure this out this week. Yep, we out here living.
Man, do you mean the right Satan?
Oh shit.
Alright.
Who the fuck is Stan?
I'm just letting you know. I have started streaming for whenever we're ready. Now I
Closer to
don't have to press it again.
The more mad I am.
And I absolutely have it so it doesn't show our in-game chat.
I can make that happen.
No, you can't.
I'll just start copying and pasting it in the regular chat in your YouTube.
Riggedy wrecked.
I love the amount of dedication just for that.
Don't test me.
So who's Stan?
The man.
I
He's
can't
the
spell,
one
that's
that
who
you
Stan
can't
is.
get close to because you get mad, I think.
Yeah.
Time for some wisdom saving throws.
What stand are you guys even talking about?
No. Hey, does anyone have Chat GPT or that art one?
I don't think so.
All right, take that as a no. I don't feel like paying for it, so I was gonna ask. I need
For
a new.
what?
I need a new picture.
Oh, I can make you one. I have time.
Well, it doesn't need to happen right now.
Well, I didn't ask.
All right. I'm trying to remember what the hell I was doing. I think I was sitting trying to.
You were meditating
Yep.
at the bow of the ship near the artillery for the cannon in the front.
Yeah, I'm ready for a kraken. Well, Necro's not. I am.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
I see.
I had to.
It just started to rain as well.
That's fine. I don't get cold. I'm dead.
True.
Man, I'm
Well,
dead.
I'm not.
Man,
I'm not
dead.
dead, but I'm dead inside.
Does Necro have any hair?
I thought he did.
Yeah, for right now he does. That could change.
Do you want him kind of like your picture right now?
Yes.
Okay, well, if I could see it, that would help. It's not a you problem, it's a me problem.
Okay.
Uh,
Hey. What?
Can someone? I'll need someone else to do the
Intro.
intro, like welcome back, adventures or whatever you want to say.
Welcome back to Adventures in My
Just,
Anus. This is Deidre. How may I help you?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's close, but we'll work on that.
Yeah, just someone, if whoever wants to do it, to just do an intro and then pass it off to Jacob so that he can recap and all that.
Indeed.
I think Sam wanted to do it.
No, because I don't know what to say. Someone else can do it. The DM should get first pick.
Do you just want to do the intro, Jacob?
What do you need me to say? Just
Like,
Welcome back to Rolls for Trolls.
I agree. I don't know. Just welcoming people back and to Rolls for Trolls and.
okay. I mean, I guess I can try.
Just let me know when you guys. Just let me know when everyone's ready to.
Is Miss Sage ready?
I'm present. No.
Okay. Well, I don't have it pulled up. I had no idea.
Yeah, so just let me know when everyone's ready and I can start recording.
I'm ready here.
Give me one second and I'll be ready. All right, I'm ready.
Sam, JD, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Rolls for Trolls podcast. I'm your DM, and let's get this on a roll, shall we say. Last time, our players found themselves gathering together on the dock side of the town of Trencher. The party was introduced to a female wood elf, Rana Greenleaf, who Thulgrim vouched for immediately after their small incursion on the alleyway with John Leash. After doing so, not too long afterwards, a large flying eagle came crashing down and landing softly onto the docks nearby, and the party began to gather. Briola, Jack, Willow, the Akuma daughters, and the infamous death cleric of the party, Deidre, on the back. That was just recently saved from some guards that decided to pull her away, with luckily Briola being able to help gather and rescue her. After doing so, Friola decided to try to establish and give off information about the information of the King Lucarit, where he was going to give off a fiendish plan. And in the middle of explaining, Necro arrived on the dock as well, trying to sneak up on the party, with not too much of a surprise, as everyone began to notice his sopping wet boots as they went across the dockway, and him feeling with a feeling of full of anguish and anger, and even maybe even some depression, and a crab trying to steal one of his pairs of shoes. Friola felt a bit of worry for him in his mental state and cast calm emotions on him to calm him down before he arrived, and tried to bring in everyone to basically huddle in for all the information about the king's whereabouts and dealings. And as that transpired, she also mentioned a ship that was soon to arrive with, I believe, the ghostly appearance of the captain of the ship named Daria Mortimer. As she explained the devious plot that the king had for the future as they rowed forward onto the ship and fully climbed aboard, meeting the invisible crew and the captain and her first mate, Kilroy. As doing so, they scarfed down some meals, kind of introduced themselves a bit as Friola began to work feverishly on a very powerful ritual spell to take herself, Jack, and the Akuma daughters, and Avali and Hai to a sanctuary on their home planet of Toril. Last we left off, if I remember correctly, Necro was meditating on the bow of the ship. Jack went off to go towards the lower deck, as Avali, One Eye, and Oma kind of sat on the bottom, waiting for the ritual to be done. Avali with her back to the door. I believe Thulgrim and Bugger were enjoying some delicious meat and decided to snooze in the kitchen as they finished down their meal, smelling of meat and very much damp hay, as Bugger is very much face forward into it. Deidre, I believe you're still in the kitchen as well, just finishing up your meal, or just kind of... I'm not really sure. I didn't know if you were just sitting in there or making your rounds towards around the ship. But I think it is most important to start off with Avali, I believe. Avali, as you sit outside the door, you feel the door come open with a click as Friola steps into the door frame, as they trying to not push you out of the way or have the door slam into your back. She stands straight up and looks down at you. Her eyes flash with this magical aura, like a blinding light. And in her hands, she has gripped what looks to be a root of a tree that's been cut and severed, and has like these intricate runes kind of burned into the root itself. As she kind of holds it all off for a moment and then looks back down to the ground, seeing you and One Eye kind of finishing up what looks like a meal, as Oma kind of stares lawfully upwards towards her and looks back at you, One Eye. Braille looks down at you, Avali. I believe we're about ready to embark.
Do you need me to go get everyone else?
If you would like to get everyone and to at least say your goodbyes. As you're saying that, as she's saying that, Jack Willow comes stumbling down the stairs, smelling of a little bit of the food that he devoured just recently, and a little bit of, looks a little bit watered down as the rain is starting to pitter down onto the ship. Hearing it distantly as it's not coming through the lower deck or anything like that, but you can definitely hear it pitter-pattering off the top. As it does so, Jack kind of turns the corner a little bit and got a little bit of a wobble to his step. He immediately locks eyes with you, One Eye, for a moment, and then kind of shovels over to you, Avali, as you're kind of standing in between him and Friola. As he looks down at you and kind of extends a hand, Avali, to kind of stand you up. I heard that you're a bard.
I am, and I don't know if you're steady enough to be helping people out, Abilene says as she gets up off the ground by herself.
He kind of like brings his hand to his side and kind of pats his pants a little bit. Yeah, I've been having a little bit of a drink, and Friola, kind of looking a little nervous, kind of extends her hand to Jack. You need to steady yourself. We are going to be traveling here soon, and we don't need you being a complete drunkard as soon as we arrive at the church. Jack kind of like looks at her and smiles. That's true. And then he plops down a little bit and kind of scoots off to the side to not block the doorway.
Where are the girls?
I believe that they're upstairs at the moment, but I can go get them here, unless you would like to gather them with your friends.
You can go get the girls. I'll watch over Jack and make sure he doesn't throw up or anything.
All right. Would you like me to gather your friends for you, then?
You don't need to. We don't really know each other that well.
I see. Well, if that's what you decide. And she kind of looks over at Jack, a little embarrassed, and then kind of steps over him a bit as he kind of slumps into the side of the by the door, not necessarily in the corner, but kind of just off to the side to not be in the path. She starts making her way up the stairs, and as she's doing so, Necro, you're sitting on the helm of the ship a bit, right?
Correct.
As you're kind of sitting there, you said you're just meditating, right?
Yeah. I'm just kind of figuring out how I'm feeling right now.
Okay. You immediately sense with your passive perception a pair of feet kind of slowly making their way, not necessarily behind you, but off to the left-hand side of you, as the two Akuma daughters kind of stand in your vision for a bit. The older one with the red long hair kind of tied off to her side. She looks about 13 years old or so, and the younger one behind her about possibly 8 or 10. She's kind of trailing behind her, and it seems like she's kind of holding and kind of steadying herself, and then she kind of locks eyes with you for a moment as she kind of makes a few more steps towards you, and then kind of kneels down onto the kind of mimicking how you're sitting on the ground, as her little sister kind of sits behind her and kind of in a shy but almost defensive kind of way, as she kind of looks across from you.
I'm gonna have to pull the Necros special and just sit there in quiet and ignore them.
Okay. As you kind of sit there and quietly and just kind of ignoring them, the older sister speaks up. My name is Bethany Akuma. You're Necro, correct?
Necro will like shake his head, but he's not gonna like open his eyes or anything.
Okay. We had lived in the city of Valyria for a long time, and we were just curious because, well, you were one of the High Wind Angels, and Friola mentioned that you possibly could have been around when my father went and saw the king. Is that correct?
Necro's going to open his eyes and kind of like do that little hand gesture where he's like, I don't know. And then he's probably going to stop meditating. He's just going to listen now.
She kind of looks, as you kind of like raise your shoulders as like you don't know. She kind of looks a little bit more worried. Then she kind of looks off into the distance of like the sea as the rain becomes to pour a little bit harder now. As she looks back at you again. Well, we were just curious because Friola said that father is gone, and we didn't necessarily believe her at first, and we were just wondering if he is gone. We just wanted to know, did he die with his honor at least? Did he die fighting?
Necro's just going to keep acting like he doesn't know.
You want to give me a deception?
Give me a sec. Deception. Where is it? I'm looking for it. There it is. Advantage or just normal?
It would be a normal roll.
I got an 11.
Alrighty. As you kind of like not really give much or say much or even necessarily even gesture as much, she kind of looks off into the distance again as the bow of the ship kind of rises a little bit and then falls down again with the sea. A little bit of water kind of splashes onto the deck of the ship a bit as she kind of stares offward for a moment, and you hear her knees kind of shuffle a little bit closer to you, and she looks kind of deep into your eyes for a moment, and her hand extends as she kind of looks over to you, and you kind of see her a lot closer. You can see the mark that Friola was speaking about, the mark of the wild mother, with it kind of just sitting on her skin as she extends her hand, and a little bit of glowing plume of leaves begin to like grow in the center of her palm as like a little flower begins to grow outwards, and then she kind of plucks it from her palm, and then she kind of extends it out to you.
Necro's willing to take it. He's not going to be mean.
Okay, you take it. It looks like a regular like daisy, and as you kind of take it, she kind of gives like a small smile as you see like tears whelming up in her eyes. Well, thank you for telling me what you could. And she gets up quite quickly as her sister's kind of just clutching behind her as they just disappear back up on top of the quarter deck of the ship and then climb back up the stairs. And as they do so, you hear the familiar voice of Friola. Ah, children, are you all right? As she kind of stands up on the top of the stairs, looking down towards where you're at, and then kind of like looks at you over at you for a moment, and then back at the daughters, and then kind of like holds them close to her. We're leaving soon, and she pats both of their heads and looks over at you, Necro. We're gonna be leaving here soon. Didn't know if you had any goodbyes to say.
Yeah, Necro's going to get up, and he's going to follow along with him all the way down.
Okay. she kind of turns face, and when she sees you actually stand up and start making your way to the stairs, you see a kind of surprise go across her face and a smile. And she kind of whispers something under her breath for a moment, and then just turns face and then starts walking down the stairs. And soon after, Jack's kind of woozy a little bit and kind of tries to stand up again, but then just kind of realizes that he's not probably the most steady at the moment, and then kind of just sits back down and pulls out like what looks like a flask of water and starts drinking from it. And then Friola and the girls, with Necro in tow, start making their way down the stairs. Well, I have the daughters here, and are you gathering anybody else before we leave? And as she says that, Jack kind of looks over at you, Avalee. Well, I don't know. I'm a little woozy right now, but I heard that. Is that true?
That what?
The viola? Is that what it's called? The instrument?
It's a viol.
Yeah, I thought I had it right the first time. Would you mind playing it for a bit before you leave? Well, before we leave.
A performance to say goodbye.
Sounds quite lovely to me. What do you
If we
guys think? As he kind of gestures to everyone else and kind of like standing here.
Am I even in the presence? Would I have even heard?
Yeah, you're standing right there, One Eye.
Where is there?
Oh. Right here
Ah.
as well. Yeah, they're all standing down here basically with you all. Oh, Necro as well. I'll move you, Necro.
Oh, thanks.
No
I'll just say
problem.
I'm still engrossed in conversation.
Yeah.
You just hear, just like back and forth, just draconic between me and the Drake.
Just having a little side conversation. Yeah.
While this is going on, Necro wants to kind of doodle in his booklet with his pencil for like a second.
Okay.
Alright, I'll play for you guys. What would the little girls like to hear?
The oldest kind of like looks over from Viola's kind of like side a little bit, and she's like, something beautiful. I'm sure anything would be lovely right now.
You guys don't have a favorite song?
They kind of like shake their heads.
Alrighty. Avalee's gonna have Hyde give her viol, and she's gonna set it down in her lap and start playing a bit of a bittersweet tune that turns cheerful at the end.
Okay. Well, if you want to give me a performance check.
11.
Yeah, I'll do it with advantage.
Okay, then 18.
All right, perfect. Do you grab like a stool or something to sit on,
No,
or
I'm just
move a
sitting
box? Okay. As Necro, as you kind of pull out a pad of paper, you watch as Hyde kind of like Mary Poppins pulls this large instrument out and just hands it over to Avalee as she kind of starts getting herself ready for it and angling her bowstring and the instrument herself as she begins to play, as the rain begins to fall and kind of crescendo with the actual instrument itself, as the sea kind of begins to roll with the ship, as the lanterns in the hallway begin to shake back and forth slowly, as it almost kind of sways like a dance as she begins to play. The Akuma daughter is kind of just staring over at you, Avalee, as you begin to play, just kind of enamored a bit. Friola kind of just gently smiling, and Jack just kind of puts his hands into his face for a moment, kind of rubbing his eyes as he kind of just stares over at you as you continue to play. What is everybody else doing?
Necro's kind of drawing a picture right now.
Okay. As she begins and continues to play, as you watch as her fingers move quickly across the strings and the bow beginning to move slow but then fast as it continues to play, as the light in here begins to sway, it is quite dark now that most of the moon is quite high in the sky, as she begins to finish her song. You hear kind of the distant sound of the waves crashing against the hull of the ship as Friola kind of steps into the room back to where she was working on the ritual, as the root itself begins to glow and emanate even more power as she steps back into the room. And the Akuma sisters kind of just taking in this entire performance as they kind of slowly follow her back into the room.
Avali finishes up and takes a moment before handing Hyde her instrument again and standing up, brushing herself off. She looks around at everybody.
Jack begins to clap immediately, and Hyde kind of does like a little bit of a bow as everyone, well, if everyone claps, obviously.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to clap. No, of course.
Necro probably finishes up and then he claps, and then he's gonna start heading toward the young girls, or the eldest of the sisters.
Okay. They both walked into the room where as soon as you guys step into the doorway, you see these intricate patterns like drawn in a large circle diagram on the floor, and you see kind of Friola standing one-handed with holding a staff kind of that's kind of standing in the middle of the room, kind of floating there as she kind of grips this root close to her chest. As you walk into the room, Necro, you just see the Akuma daughters kind of just stand off to the side a bit, and then kind of see you walk in, and then like nod at your presence.
Yeah. Necro's going to rip out that piece of paper he was drawing on, and kind of walk over and hand it to the eldest daughter.
She'll take it.
On this piece of paper, Necro tried to draw like a picture of their father with wings, and like in like a nice cursive on the top, wrote his name, and then put like Magnifico, to like represent like the nobility of him, and then he just walks away really quickly.
Okay. As you turn, she kind of just is looking at this drawing with her little sister's a little bit shorter than her, so she's kind of trying to stand on her tippy toes to see what she's looking at. She just kind of curls over into her arms a bit, and she's just like, Bethany, what's wrong? As she kind of holds the drawing, and kind of like as you start walking out of the room, you just hear her just kind of yell out to you, "Thank you."
Yeah, Necro's not going to stop. He's just going to quickly get out of the room.
Okay.
It's very, very uncomfortable for him.
That's totally fine. Everyone else that's still standing in the room, the oldest kind of starts wiping tears from her face that's kind of falling on this drawing, and then she kind of turns the drawing a little bit so it doesn't smudge it, and she folds it and puts it into her pouch that she has on the side of her, and she turns face to Friola and kind of nods to her as Friola kind of takes her into her chest for a moment, just holding her as you step into this room that is just engulfed with this light that is just emanating from all of them. Hyde kind of like just hovers back into the room. Avalie, do you follow as well?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys both kind of walk into this room and just kind of standing inside this large diagram onto the floor. Jack kind of stands up from the outside of the doorway and just kind of walks in and then sits down behind Friola and then just kind of readies himself. One Eye, are you still standing in the doorway or are you just kind of looking?
Standing in the doorway. Of what?
Okay.
No.
Hmm?
I was asking. Oh, standing in what doorway? I thought we were just
Um,
chilling here in this corner.
Yeah, this doorway as you you would have watched like Jack and everyone kind of walk into this room and right here in the middle of the floor where all these bunks are kind of just hanging aloft from different levels. You see just Friola, the Akuma daughters, and Jack standing over this large basically diagram on the ground with her holding this root that's like glowing eminent, like almost like daylight.
I didn't catch was my present requested.
Well, you were sitting there with Avalie and stuff, so I just assumed that you were still there.
No, yeah, but like, do they need? Like, I was like out here, like sitting, like in this corner over here because there's a wall right there.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if like, because you said they're in the room now, right?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
left the door open, and as they just kind of, obviously, as she was finishing up her performance before they left, it just seemed like they were all starting to get ready to leave, so I didn't know if you were trying to say something or not.
No.
Okay. As they do so, Briola looks over to you, Avalie. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And she looks over to Hyde, and Hyde nods as well, as she kind of embraces the two daughters and kind of kisses them both on the forehead. We got a long travel ahead of us, but it is a new beginning, not the end. As she smiles across to everybody, and Jack kind of nods a little bit lazily. All right. She holds the root, kind
Actually, if I may, can I catch him real quick?
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't picking up that. Yeah. So I'll just
That they're
go up
leaving.
to. Huh? Yeah, they're leaving. I was like, yeah. So I'll just go up to Abley. Yeah, I'll just leave Oma sit in there for a moment. Just kind of tell
I'm
him.
gonna hang out with Oma.
Oma kind of just nods. Oh, wait
So- Okay. So yeah, I'll go up to Abley and just kind of extend a hand. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I wish you luck in your travels.
And you as well. I hope you find what you're looking for.
As do I, and I hope you manage to resolve, well, your issues, for lack of a better term.
No, thank you.
Be well, and I'll turn and walk away.
Before you turn, Friola will also extend a hand to you, One Eye. This is for you as well, and to give off to the others, she kind of hands you a folded piece of parchment. This has all the information that we gathered about the king, and the possible location of the one named Dorn, I believe.
Noted. Many
She'll
thanks.
hand you the piece of parchment before you make your way out of the doorway.
Okay, and I do.
And as she nods and you turn face, almost behind you, like a large flash of light, kind of almost, if you were staring back at it, it would probably almost blind you, as the whole room kind of engulfs in light, as this almost like sucking, popping sound, like kind of like explodes behind you. And if you turn back again, everyone is gone, and the markings on the floor are kind of scattered like chalk dust.
Dust in the wind.
All right. As they leave, and silence is brought to the ship as it kind of creaks as the sea kind of holds the ship aloft and continues to rock back and forth as you continue to travel onward. Uh, what are you two doing, One Eye and Necro, from here on out? It is also getting quite late, so if you guys decide to stay up any longer, you could be risking possible exhaustion.
Well, Necro was just meditating.
Okay. You're just gonna go back to meditating, basically?
Necro's gonna see if One Eye says anything. He's not gonna ignore him. Necro's kind of in his. Is it kind of in his feels right now?
One is just gonna walk up to him, sift through the papers and find anything relating to Dorn. Take it and hand the rest to Necro.
Okay.
Well,
What information on Dorn you kind of glean is just basic information. You see like a kind of a quick sketch of what he could possibly look like. You see what looks like a kind of humanoid looking man with a large brimmed hat that has like these baubles around, kind of dangling off this large like brimmed hat that kind of comes close to the top of the head. Very sunken looking eyes with kind of dark wrinkles across the face, sunken in cheeks, and a lot of black, with like a large like black looking like almost coat or trench coat with a large collar, and you see like a weird augmented like almost like shoulder armor kind of off to the side of him that's kind of like built off of his arm a bit, and you see kind of written around it a location of around the about northeastern edge of the unknown continent marked onto the map, and you know that information was also given to the captain as well, and kind of you know that the last location of Dorn was dropped off near there, where you guys are basically heading, which is about a week's travel away, depending if the seas agree.
Just looking at it, I'm just like, I see your change in attire has not improved, Dorn. Lucky bastard. I'll pocket that.
Okay.
Necro wants to be like looking at it right now. I don't know if you're trying to hide it at all. Just like kind of glance what's going on. Like why did you take those pieces of paper? Kind of ordeal.
I wouldn't really try to hide them. I just took them.
Yeah, I know, but you're looking at them for a second, so you're.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you wanted to look at them, I wasn't going to stop you or prevent you from seeing it.
Okay then.
And then you probably would have heard me mutter under my breath, shit talking Dorn. And his looks.
Okay. Necro's probably gonna like take a second, trying to process kind of how he's feeling. He's probably gonna reach his hand out to One Eye to try to give him a handshake, like as a gesture of good faith.
We'll just give you a bit of a side eye. All one of them, and then he'll take your hand and he'll give it a shake.
And then once Necro One Eye kind of let go of that handshake, Necro's gonna look at One Eye with like okay, like he's shaking his head, like he's kind of also pointing at the paper, like he's down to go kill whoever this person is because he was just talking shit about this person. Because right now that's all Necro knows how to do.
Can I roll insight to see if I even understand? What
Yeah, I was
he's
gonna say that's a lot of
message-
detail
what
to
message
glean
he's
from
trying
just
to
like
give me.
emotion.
Yeah,
but you can try to give me an insight on that.
I'm
Yeah,
just
go for it.
pointing at my hand, pointing at the paper, just like yeah.
Well, first
I
off,
understand.
Necro, if you want to try to like give like a performance, like a miming, like this is like point at this thing and be like, I don't know. Can you give me a little bit more description on that?
Okay, well,
Just trying to vaguely gesture at the paper.
yeah.
and be like,
So okay. After the handshake, Necro points to the paper. She like kind of sits back, standing tall. Like like understanding that he doesn't like this person. He points at the paper one more time, and then just kind of just the little like head slice ordeal, like understanding, and then he's like nodding his head afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, 1 second before we continue. Who's thumping?
That's Lily. You okay, Lily?
No, I'm not doing anything, but I guess that sometimes happens.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I just wanted to. I was
It
like,
stopped
what,
now, so
what
you're
is
fine.
that? Yeah, so you fixed it.
Probably was.
Whatever magic you performed fixed it.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, sorry. Let me find.
And then if you want to go off the performance roll, that was a 4.
Yeah, this
So
seems
not a
about
good
right.
start.
One now thinks you're trying to kill
Oh god,
him.
One Eye, you are too smart.
I
Even
only
with
have a
that
1.
lack of a performance, you kind of gleam that he's kind of like. You're not really sure much on the details, but you seem like he's trying to show you some kind of idea that he's on your side.
I got a perfect response.
All right.
Yeah, he's pretty shit. Just respond with that, and then just roll up the paper and put it in my pocket.
I love the just both of you guys quietly staring at each other as this acceptance of just like all that information.
Yeah, Necker
Ola
just
kind of looks up between both of you and just looks over at you, One Eye.
Almost even more lost because the one, he can't speak the language, and 2, he's also.
Necker can't speak, so this is
Well,
it.
he doesn't know what I said either because I'm speaking in common.
I don't really understand the dead one, but if you trust him, Master, then I trust him.
And just kind of look over to Oma and be like, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, I'm working on it. Just kind of.
Oma just looks even more confused.
Trust me too, guy. Me too.
And he just kind of like nods, but he definitely doesn't understand.
Yeah, all while they're talking to each other, Necro's like feeling kind of pumped up, shaking his head, yes, like, okay,
Hell yeah.
okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna kill someone. He's just
Alright.
feeling pumped.
Awesome. Love to see it. While that's going on, I know Thulgrim's a bit conked out with Bugger and probably is now snoring quite loudly into a bale of hay with mead kind of like dripping off his lips.
Got a little dribble going on.
Yeah, what's going on with Rana and Deidre? And possibly the captain as well.
I'll let them go first.
Okay.
Proceed.
So, anyways, I said to her, "Can you believe those aren't fake?" No. Tough crowd.
Man, I wish I had a soundboard. I'd fucking roll the fucking what's that fucking what's it called in sitcoms? That laugh track.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just roll the laugh track, guys.
Yeah, Bugger's in the background going beep beep.
He's snoring.
You just see Bugger kind of like curled up into Thulgrim a bit and starting to like almost in his sleep still nibble on his beard.
How heavy is Bugger?
How heavy is Bugger?
Probably pretty darn heavy.
Yeah, he's a pretty thick-looking boy.
With
He
Can
has
I
a lot of-
try
goat.
and pick him up?
It's like
There's
a
a lot
goat
of-
the size of a horse, so
Yeah, it's like trying to pick up like
A horse.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, can I try and pick him up?
Yeah, Troy, go for
I
it.
wish you luck.
Give me a strength check.
I can only imagine what DC you're putting on
16.
You go
Oh,
to.
save.
Are you
Hold on,
trying to?
what's the
Where are
save?
you trying to grab this? This ram here.
I'm trying to grab him like if you were to pick up a dog from behind, where you like wrap your arms around their chest and then hook your arms under their front legs. And kind
You
of
have to
keep 'em
kind of
up.
like maneuver a little bit with your footing a bit as you're trying to lift up Bugger, and Fulgrim's kind of just like almost cuddled up with him a bit as it kind of nibbles on his beard, And as you're trying to like lift up, you just feel this like immense weight of this ram. And as you get like your hands underneath, you can't even fully get a good grab. It's like full of just nothing but matted hair. And then like as you get close, you
Well,
even smell the meat and like manure and the hay kind of just starting to mix up a little bit. And as you're like trying to pull away, Thalgrim like through his in the middle of his sleep, he kind of lets out one of those like meat burps into your face.
I'm gonna walk in on this.
You see a Deidre trying to lean over and try to like kind of looks like awkwardly trying to hold up a large ram that's barely giving any inches off the ground. As you see Rana kind of just like sitting across the table looking at them very I'm sure very curiously or even more silly than anything.
Yeah, for reference, a horse is over 1,000 pounds, so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Deidre a very concerned look.
Yeah, as the door kind of
Oh.
shuts behind you of the kitchen, you don't see much movement in the actual kitchen itself, but you just see what you see there.
So, what's going on in here?
just petting my new buddy and smelling the flowers. So I kind of gag as I smell Thalgrim's meat burp.
I'm gonna look at the goat and the dwarf, and I'm just gonna sigh. And be like, okay, well, we'll just leave them there. The kitchen's closed, so can I show you ladies to your quarters?
Yeah, but do you want to help me teach this thing how to swim? As I kind of like try to heave
No.
at beep beep again.
No, I'm just gonna ignore the goat.
Damn it.
But you guys can have your own rooms downstairs, and the boys could share. If that's
Wow.
cool with you guys.
It's fine with me.
I'm okay with that.
Alright, then follow me.
Watch out, I'm a tickler.
Okay. Whatever that
Noted. Jots down on a piece of paper. Avoid at all costs.
Never speak to Deidre.
I'm
Side
gonna
note:
leave them
molest goats and apparently tickles.
Yeah, never lift arms around her.
I do have a journal that I write everything down in, so this will definitely be written down somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. All right.
I
I
will
just
not
can't
tell
win
you
anymore.
So, Deidre and Rana, are you following Mortimer down?
Mortimer.
Yes.
Too many keywords.
Well, Daria, but gotta give the captain last name first. It's only polite.
Who-
I'd be Captain Mortimer to you.
He.
What?
Put some respect on that name.
A little bit of respect.
I'm guessing we were running to the boys on our way down.
Okay. Well, I will. If they are you two ladies gonna follow the captain then?
Yay, bedtime! I'm gonna skip behind her.
I'm gonna start playing. I think my character has dice as a proficiency. I think that's what I took.
Nice.
So I'm pretty sure that's what I took.
Okay.
Maybe not. I do have a set of dice, so I'm just gonna be trying to teach Oma how to play dice. So that's what you guys walk in on.
Okay. Nick, are you still standing there watching this dragonborn try to teach this small dragon dice?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to join in?
Well, you ladies
I
walk
do. I
down
do want
this.
to join in.
You ladies walk down the stairs, and you can see two grown-ass men squatted down next to this dragon as one of them is explaining in a language that you don't understand. That's in a mix of guttural sounds and like kind of like very throat, like almost like reptiles speaking back and forth to each other a bit. And Necro just kind of quietly standing like squatted in between them, just looking in awe.
I'm going to throw myself at One Eye and Oma Oh my god, Necro, pay attention! They're choking on the dice! Help them! I'm gonna start pushing on One Eye's stomach.
When I just like,
Oma just kind of like turns as these three women just kind of dropping down the stairs and looks back to you, One Eye.
I know I give off
them.
I just hold up a finger to Oma. I'm just gonna say to DG, I know I have this, give off this really rugged flair, but I'd appreciate you not throwing yourself at me.
I will throw myself at whomever I please. Thank you very little.
Actually, you can't. I can and will kick you off the ship for sexual assault, so...
I didn't touch anyone inappropriately. I just tried to pick up a goat and tried to help someone from choking.
I will do it for harassment as well.
And all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy.
I didn't see me.
No, I wouldn't go that. I wasn't
here.
gonna go that far, but relax. I just say to DG.
Mm-hmm. I go off on a corner couch.
Alrighty.
And also, no, nobody is choking on dice. Thank you for your concern. As she walks away.
Where is she going?
My own little corner.
Oma kind of looks up at you, One Eye. What is Dex salt? Sounds delicious.
Remember, that wasn't in Draconic, remember?
Indeed.
Or unless he's trying to like.
He's trying to pick apart the words that they're.
Yes, yeah, okay. Now I'm getting it. I'm not gonna get into that, Oma. No, Oma, please.
He kind of licks his chops a bit.
I just take a piece of
Daria.
jerked meat and just throw it to him. Just.
He immediately starts gobbling it down and like hucks it back into his throat.
That has nothing to do with what was spoken, but I figured you'd probably need that right now. Anyway, I go, and this is all in Draconic, by the way, so you guys have no idea what's going on.
Immediately go back into the guttural sounds. Yes.
I just go back to teaching Oma how to try play dice, or trying to.
Daria's gonna look around and be like, "Oh, are your friends gone?"
Yes, I believe they most certainly are.
Alright, the room that the blue one was sitting in front of is all your boys' room. You guys
What?
get to share.
DG, in response to what you wrote, you shout that he's joking again. I just shout back to you, I'm not joking, damn it!
Sounds like it. I've heard it before at a few hotels, and I just want to make sure you're okay.
It is Draconic. I know it's uncommon. Don't worry about it. I will make it obvious when I'm choking. Believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Choking on what, though?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Well, I just asked.
Fair. But it will most likely be food, especially fish, because, yeah.
You know, it's not very nice of you to snap at Rana when I'm the one really lighting fires over here. She just joined in the conversation, One Eye.
It's okay.
Let's go find some sex salt.
Probably be choking on codfish anyway.
Hey, cod is good.
Is it
Amen.
though?
If you prepare it right. Same with any fish, except for carp. Don't touch carp. Never touch carp.
As you're saying this, Oma kind of like takes his nose and kind of pushes more of the dice across the ground. Does that mean I get to eat the dice?
No. Back to Draconic again. We don't eat the dice, you roll the dice, and then I go into like the rules.
He continues to nod as you're telling him the rules.
Well, this has been enlightening. Anyway, I'm gonna lead them over to these 2 bedrooms.
Alrighty.
These 2 are yours. You guys can decide which one is which. I don't really care.
I'm okay with the smaller room. I don't need much space.
They're about the same
I think
size.
Yeah. They're about the same size. One of them has a hammock, one of them has a bed, if that makes a difference to you.
The hammock room is about 5 inches smaller than the other one. No, just kidding.
Rigs out small ruler.
Give me the hammock.
Alright, that'll be the room on the right.
Okay, thank you.
Only because you're cute.
Well, if that's all settled, I'll see you both in the morning.
Good night, Captain. I'm gonna blow her a kiss. Mwah.
I'm going to ignore that and then just nod you goodnight before heading back up, because I figured the boys know where their rooms are now.
Thank
She's
you for
playing
that.
hard to get.
You're welcome.
Alrighty. As you walk, both of you walk in. The only difference between those 2 rooms is what she specifically said. One of them has a actual like full-on bed with sheets and a pillow and everything like that. But there is a pillow and blanket as well with the hammock basically. But you have there's a side table. There's a few chests as well for storage spaces. There's a privy. There's everything, the essentials that you will need. There's a lantern, like 2 sconces and lanterns on the wall as well that kind of sway a little bit as the ship continues to rock. But it's quite comfortable. There's also locks on your doors as well.
I'm gonna take Oma and Necro if he decides to come along and go into our quarters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the table to throw a dice on for a bit longer until we go to sleep.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can push and open in that room that was just used a moment ago for some quick teleportation, and you see quite a decent amount of bunks that are kind of just hanging and swaying on different levels. And then if you push past that, you can see some drawn curtains that kind of make as temporary walls for this small little dining table and kind of hall that, like, well, it's not really a hall, just a dining table. You see a candle kind of lit on the actual table itself, and a few lanterns that sway in the room above. And you see another curtain as well towards the back for more privacy as well.
While he's teaching Oma how to play with dice, Necro's gonna pull out the other pieces of paper and start going through them.
Okay. The other information that you basically glean from this was kind of more of a recap, necessarily what Friola spoke about. You see that they arrive probably about a few weeks or so before all of you, and kind of just hanged out on the outskirts of Illyria. Met up with met up with Daria earlier when she came back from port from dropping off, and got information from her about the king sending off a group of 6 with the leader being Dorn to basically have some information that they were bringing, which Daria gave to Jack and Friola, about strange canisters and weird cargo that they brought with them, like these weird like vials and large things that kind of they were kept hidden away. But she did notice one night, basically when they were either counting their actual inventory that they had on them, or when she was just peeking in on one of their discussions that they were having while they were traveling, that they carried these large like vials that are like massive inside bags of holding, so they can limit the amount of space that they carry, that have these like almost like dark congealed blood and like flesh in these large jars that they carried with them. and they didn't really give up more information to her specifically. All the information they did, and they paid handsomely for travel from the king, and that was basically it. They didn't really give up much to the captain per se, besides what information she gleaned from basically hearing in on their conversation.
So now that Necro knows that One Eye's looking for what, Dorn?
Yes, this
Um,
man named Dorn, aka the Sight Taker.
is, is there any information that Necro knows about him that isn't covered in the
Roll an
documents?
intelligence check for me.
All right.
With advantage because you were part of the Highwind Angels and very close to the king's information.
You can make it a history check.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you want to use a history and check instead of intelligence, that's fine too.
Well, sure, why not?
I usually treat trying to remember things as history.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we got an 18 then.
Alrighty. You would immediately know that Dorn is known quite well and popular in the black market. Knowing what Necro knows, you've heard dealings of him from far and wide. He's very much a treacherous, thieving collector, and works and with esteemed, very backstabbing kind of people. Worked in the black market for some time. Eventually gleaned enough popularity amongst the more scummy rats of the Undercity. You knowing a lot of the actual black market dealings under the actual city of Aurelia, and you knowing he's almost kind of like second hand to like the kingpin of the black market underneath the actual city of itself.
So,
And you know that the king spoke about him, but you never were actually in on any of the actual meetings or information with that. But you would know that he was very close to the king, and it's very odd, even for a Highwind Angel, not knowing what the king was necessarily doing, even though he kept very close cards to himself. But he also always seemed like he was giving information to the angels specifically, since they were very much his own bodyguards. But that's all you kind of glean from that.
do I know anything of this party that Dorn is in? Like,
No.
okay, I guess any of the information that I feel like One Eye doesn't have, I'm gonna quickly jot it down in my booklet and then hand it to him.
Okay.
So just like things that I know about him from like black market deals, I guess, and just overall like everything I pretty much know about this guy.
Yeah, and I would kind of assume that I would know a decent portion of it.
Yeah, you kind of, as you even Necro sliding this information to you, unless you're trying to hide your expressions to Necro, it doesn't really come to a surprise to you, any of this information, because you know a lot of this already.
Yeah, I just kind of go over it and just be like, yep, sounds about right. Yep,
Since you actually know him a little bit more personally, One Eye, it's kind of up to you, depending on if you want to share that information. But the thing is, you would also know on top of all this that Dorn was quite popular in many facets of the any type of the black market trade, whether it came to stealing of like fake and real artifacts, or even lives, human slaves, or any type of slaves, possibly. He was quite a collector of appendages and specifically rarities of certain humanoids or even non-humanoids, and collecting several eyes.
okay.
You do with that information as you will.
Okay. So yeah, I'll just look over information, just kind of. I will attempt to give off a vibe of, oh yes, this is important information. I will commit this to memory.
Okay.
I can roll performance if you would like.
No, I think it's.
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty casual.
Yes. So, and I'll just look over at Necro. Thank you, and I'll pocket that as well.
Perfect. Yeah, nope. That was it. Then Necro's probably gonna go find a spot to just lay down and meditate in one of the little hammocks.
Okay.
Probably that. Probably this one.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll douse all the lights because open
Alrighty.
flames in a boat is probably not wise.
Yeah, you easily can snuff out the lights and a few lanterns if you choose to as well.
I think. 1 second. Wait, what level are we again? We're over 3 now. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
1 sec. Just want to look at something. Okay, yeah, I didn't have. Alright, I was checking. I produce flame, not control flame, so.
Mm-hmm.
So I do manually go around and put them all out.
Okay. That's easy to do. As you're kind of snuffing them out, you watch as almost starting to get a little bit more concise with the rules of playing dice, and he actually, instead of moving the dice around with his actual face, he'll actually grip a few of the die and kind of like roll and practice roll a few times and kind of just go over the rules in his head a little bit as you're kind of snuffing out every light around the room.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would imagine being, I don't know, like the anatomy of a drake, but I imagine, well, I guess technically it can be whatever I want it to be. But I was imagining he would have, like, usable forepaws, like as hands, like most
Yeah.
dragons do.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, okay. I just figured. Run that
Yeah,
by
it's
you real
it's
quick.
basic claws and front and back.
Yeah, but I mean, like the front one here actually has like an opposable thumb and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it comes off to the sides as well, kind of like
Yeah.
like a lizard, and almost completely.
Right. Well, the legs of a drake would be underneath,
Yeah.
but all right, yep. So I just put out all the lights and then I'll get ready to go to sleep myself.
Okay. Easy enough. You two ladies are also falling to sleep, or do you have any other possible things that you want to do before you rest? And I mean,
I think I'm good.
okay.
I'm
Say
good.
they're already asleep.
All right, perfect. All right.
Me.
Seems like everyone is basically getting to rest. Daria, as you make your way back towards the quarter deck on top of the ship, kind of looking over the side of it, is there anything you would like to do before you have to make your few more rounds?
I'm gonna go grab a blanket and put it over the dwarf over here. And then I'm gonna do my final rounds, make sure Kilroy's okay with for the evening, and then go to bed myself.
You see that him firmly planted at the helm, continuing course as you instructed. You believe that it will easily take a week's time, depending if the sea is going to be fair. Judging by the weather, it's just a calm drizzle of rain at the moment. The seas aren't necessarily rocking as hard, but Kilroy will kind of look over to you as you kind of like just look over him, just making sure that everything's all right. It seems
nod at him.
fine. The sea is calm.
If the storm gets any worse, come wake me up.
Aye, Captain.
Have a good night, Kilroy.
You wither well, ma'am.
I always do.
He nods. As you go to rest, who would like to roll a d20 for me for the day's travel?
I can.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that makes sense.
11.
Man, figured
11.
Captain should be the
11.
first.
Perfect. Roll a d4 for me.
3.
Lovely. Alrighty. As you're making your way toward towards your room, you kind of shut the door behind you. Do you do anything before you go to bed?
I probably write in my logs before going to bed.
Okay. As you kind of sit there and kind of write down the information for your log for the previous day and the day and this night as well, making sure that everything is correct. You have kind of a doing it at candlelight is my guess, or possibly a lantern that you have kind of swaying in the room.
I have good vision. I don't need a light.
Well, there you go. If you want to write in complete darkness, that's up to you as well.
Already. I'll do that.
Okay. As you continue to write and finish up what you need to do and kind of slowly make your rounds to make sure that you're comfortable and tuck yourself into bed, you feel yourself fall into complete slumber very easily, so as the sea very much is a calming ease place for you. You've slept on many ships, the ship in particular, and the rockingness is almost comforting to you. The sound of the swaying of the sea and the occasional sounds of the creaking of the wood as it continues to sail forward. You, as you kind of fall into unconsciousness a bit, you hear the sound of the wind beginning to like get louder and louder, or as the rain gets heavier and beats down harder onto the ship. You, as you kind of fall asleep completely, you feel yourself almost submerged, and you kind of awaken again, but you're not in your bed. You kind of feel yourself floating in the sea a bit. Your hair kind of like flowing away from your body a bit as you kind of just say they're suspended in the sea as you look up a bit and see the actual light of the moon kind of slowly darkening as you get deeper and deeper into this sea. You feel a calmness ahead of you as you see a familiar visage of a very curvaceous looking woman. Her eyes flake of gold as she kind of, these bright eyes kind of look over at you in this complete obelisk darkness that it continues to slowly flow down as you continue to sink into the sea. You hear this calming voice about you. My dear child, Daria. Warmth of the sea. It will help guide you. You feel just ever more comfort as you feel like a kick up of like wind even from up below the sea as your hair kind of even flows and moves rapidly across as if like catching a heavy current, and these visions kind of slowly fade as you fall into complete ever slumber of just into a deep sleep basically. And since you rolled a 3, you guys actually, with this heavy gust of wind, will take 3 days off your travel.
Nice.
So it will take you 4 days. So if anybody does anything in the night, and then if nothing else happens the night, the next day will happen. If anybody wants to do anything to start this next day, let me know now.
I think like during nightfall, because there's only so much meditation you can do. Echo's probably gonna go up to the quarterdeck and just kind of just watch, just chill out.
Okay.
And truthfully, much like you can oversleep, you could just sit there and meditate. You just need 4 hours.
Yeah, well, he was meditating before they even left.
I'm just saying you don't have to stop at 4.
Yeah, this is probably like a solid like 8 already. So he's done. He's bored of sitting still. He wants to go. He wants to go look in the sky, look at the water.
I can't take it anymore.
I'm tired.
With that, when the morning breaking across the sea, the suns rise up into the sky. It is now Telepi the 13th. So, I'm guessing Necro, since you probably did you meditate in your room? You said.
Oh, I was meditating up top, and then I was meditating in the bunks, And then in the middle of the night, like probably like before sunrise, I went up to the quarter deck.
Okay. You can easily make your way up towards the quarter deck after your meditation. Just based on everyone else's, I would guess that Daria, you're probably already up, and probably Necro, and then after that, whatever you guys want to do, then we'll go into order of who wants to wake up next.
Oh, Necro woke up first. He was
Okay.
awake during the night. I just got up early because I have to check on the ship and everything.
All right. As
Probably
you
would be up
kind
fairly
of
early, but after that,
Okay.
of course.
Daria, as you kind of like emerge from your quarters, you see the Reaper kind of just standing or whatever you're doing on the quarter deck.
Yeah, what I'm probably actually doing is I found like a nice little squat spot around this little boat, and I'm just looking off the edge.
I'm going to approach him and poke his back to make sure he's not dead.
Necro's just gonna turn to acknowledge the poke and then look right back at the sea.
Well, alright then. Did you even sleep last night?
Necro's gonna take his like empty hand, kind of grab his collar and just like pull down for a second to show his scar on his neck, and then look right back at the sea.
Alright, I see you're not one for talk. I'll be going then. Well, there are other ways to communicate. You could have just shaken your head yes or no.
But that got the point across quicker.
Hell, you might as well just give her the middle finger. Fuck you.
Hey,
Show you shit.
hey, you expect a man to talk when there's stitches across his neck?
I didn't expect you to talk. I just asked you a yes or no question, and you showed me your scar instead.
Hey, he's still in his feels, all right. A lot has happened.
Sir, your neck's not broken.
Sir, there's people with scars on their necks that can still talk.
Yeah, no, not. This is a really bad scar that wraps all the way around his head. You know, I should just grab my head and taken it off.
just grab your head and shook it.
Just leave it in the bedroom. Just don't even bother.
I feel like
Body
one of my
fucking around.
injuries is actually dead, and I don't want to deal with that, so I'm gonna go check on Killjoy.
As you make your way up to the helm and kind of make up, before you even get to the top step, Kilroy kind of turns face a bit towards you, and his face kind of, the wires in his face begin to change and shift to a smile, and then back down to a solemn kind of line face, and then he just looks back over to you. Good morning, Captain.
Good morning. I'm glad to see my favorite person first day in the morning. What do you have to report?
It seems we had strong winds last night.
Oh? Were any of our sails torn?
No. Surprisingly, it actually helped our journey. 4 days left to arrival.
Praise Lyro.
Praise.
Hopefully we get rid of these guys sooner rather than later.
Understandable, ma'am.
Well, keep up the good work. I'm gonna go make sure there's breakfast for everyone.
Aye, aye.
I'm gonna walk back down and completely ignore Necro. And just go
as
to
you
the
start walking away, Kilroy kind of turns back to you again. Ma'am,
Yes?
I was wondering, should I program the new guest?
What do you mean?
Well,
It's
I can
Kilroy.
if I assign my name to them, then I can give command.
What kind of command are we talking about here?
Well, if we run into any
Possible incursion, we can at least be manageable.
Alright, go ahead. I trust you.
Plus, introductions are important.
I introduced you to them last night.
True, but I did not introduce myself.
Alright. Feel free to talk to anyone on deck.
He smiles, and then he kind of, you see him kind of direct the ship a bit, and then kind of look at the compass, and then back down again to make sure that the ship is still going on the right direction. As he does so, he kind of comes off his sliding rail, and then he makes his way to the other side of the ship. As you watch, as he takes his pair of legs that are sitting off onto the ground, and then stabilizes them, and then takes his torso, and then lowers himself down onto a pair of legs, and attaches them and screws them onto himself, and then kind of shakes off the rust a little bit of himself, and then starts making his way down to the steps towards you, Necro.
I'm gonna follow him down the steps.
Good morning.
Necro's gonna turn to him, probably gonna stand up, and just kind of like speak to himself. What are you? And then just kind of give like a nice wave.
He waves in turn to you, almost kind of mimicking your exact movement.
Good morning. I would like to program myself to your name. What is your name?
Just to humor himself, Necro is gonna say his name out loud. He's like, Necro.
You say it, and as it kind of leaves your lips, then there's no sound that comes out, and he kind of like whirs a little bit, and you hear the sound of like this metal kind of like ticking in his head for a moment, and it's kind of silent, and then it comes to like a whirring sound again.
What is your name?
Necro's gonna say his name one more time, and then he's gonna sit down in frustration.
I would just love to hear a response. Understood. Your name is. Have a nice day. Just
You said you sit down after saying it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it one more time, and then I'm gonna visibly be frustrated, and then just sit right back down where I was sitting, still looking at him though.
He kind of, as you see visibly be frustrated, his smiling face, like you see the wiring begin to move again as it turns into a frowny face.
I did not mean to hurt your feelings.
You watch as his head turns 360 degrees around to meet your gaze again, and then turns all the way backwards to look over at the captain.
Captain, he cannot tell me his name.
Yeah, he doesn't talk. Don't worry about him. You can just call him Ghost.
Ghost.
You watch as his hands kind of like spin, and his head begins to spin as well. And then he kind of meets your gaze again, Necro.
You are now Ghost.
Yeah.
If you need my command, I will be here.
Necro's kind of like whatever, and then just looks back to the water because he's just frustrated that he can't be heard.
He turns, and then you watch as you hear the sounds of it mechanically just kind of starts walking away from you, and starts making his way down to the lower deck. Is there anything else you're doing, Necro or Daria?
Nope.
I'm just checking on the progress of breakfast for everyone. And seeing if these two are still asleep in here.
She's gonna kick him.
You
No, I'm not gonna wake
before you
them up.
even open the door to the kitchen, you can definitely hear the snores of Fulgrim and Bugger, as they could have shifted a little bit, and more of the hay kind of started making its way more around the kitchen floor. But you see invisible brooms and like dustpans kind of sweeping up some of the feces and the hay that's kind of matted onto the ground and starts cleaning it and scrubbing it. As you kind of walk into the kitchen itself, you see a few couple crates being like lifted towards the kitchen and being set down. You see eggs being cracked into skillets, and you see a few other like knives floating there, beginning to chop like potatoes and other root vegetables.
Nice work, everybody. Try not to let any fur get into the food.
You see like all the floating different types of equipment and tools kind of just like stop what they're doing for a moment and kind of like weirdly the brooms and the knives even look towards you and even do like a slight of kind of a bow to kind of gesture towards you a bit and then continue back to cutting and sweeping.
Alright. Now that I've checked that that's done, I'm just gonna do some rounds and stuff on top of the deck to make sure everything's going fine after the rain last night.
Okay. You see a lot of the invisible servants are tying off the sails, making sure everything's taut and checked. You see a few of like the ropes that are tied off to the side being like retightened and making sure they're nice and taut. You see a couple of the invisible servants kind of lifting up the tarps off of like barrels and gunpowder and stuff like that to make sure they didn't get wet or dampened at all, to make sure they weren't ruined, and them kind of just making sure that everything's clean and nothing was damaged by the rain. A few of them even moving a few crates of gunpowder and possible artillery down to the lower hold just in case.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go write my logs.
Okay. One Eye, what are you doing as you awake? As you, I believe you're still teaching Oma some dice, I'm guessing.
That was how I gotta spend at least a bit of time, but
Yeah.
I'll probably, I don't know, explore the ship, try to interact with others if they wish.
Alrighty. You hear the sound of mechanical metal against wood as the sounds of steps coming towards the bunks, and the doors fly open as you see the familiar Kilroy automaton kind of walking in and then kind of turns faces. His entire body kind of like turns all at once robotically and then kind of stands at attention and then kind of salutes to you.
Good morning.
Morning.
I did not introduce myself. I am Kilroy.
I'm One Eye.
As you say One Eye, you watch as its head and arms begin to whir for a moment.
One Eye. Is that your name?
Yep.
Registering name.
As you watch its face begin to contort a little bit as you hear the sounds of wires and motors kind of clicking for a moment.
I have registered your name.
Splendid. I pat it on the head and walk by it.
It like as its body stays in the same place, but its head rotates to kind of follow you as you like turn back. And are you making your way out the door?
Yep. Oma's gonna follow right behind me. He's gonna go on the other side of it, just like slink around him and follow me.
Okay. It kind of looks over at Oma.
What is that thing's name?
Oma, as I say as I'm walking out.
You hear, as you're walking out, you just hear distantly muffled,
Registering Oma.
What are you doing, One Eye?
I suppose I go up to the upper deck.
Okay.
I want to actually check out the ballista on the front of the ship.
Okay. As you start making your way towards the helm, well, not the helm, the front of the ship.
The bow.
The bow. I was trying to think of that word. God, ship stuff. You start making your way, Deidre or Rana, are any of you guys waking up early, or is it more of a different time for you?
Rana's awake and she's about to go out and try to find Fulgrim to see if he's still laying on his hay with his goat.
Okay. Do you prepare yourself? Do you wear all your normal like armor and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, she's fully dressed.
Okay. As you start making your way out the door, you hear the sound of metallic steps kind of against wood. And before you can even open your door to unlock it, you hear the door knocked upon.
She answers the door.
You see the familiar automaton just standing in the doorway a bit as it kind of just salutes and greets you. Good morning.
Morning. Not sure what she's looking at.
You see just this kind of navy-ish blue painted automaton that is very sun bleached and kind of flaking off. Its face kind of like a circuit board that continues to move left and right. Just it has three different expressions of going like a mild lined face with basic looking eyes, and it goes into a smile for a moment, then back to its mild face as it kind of looks over at you up and down as it whirs and clicks.
Kind of side eyes it, turning her head. Kind of weary of it. Not used to seeing such a thing. Can I help you with anything?
I was just wondering your name.
Rana.
Rana.
You watch as its body begins to whir, and as it stands still for a moment, you hear the sound of clicking metal as it stares off for a moment and then looks back at you.
Registered Rana.
Hey.
It then turns it
shuts the door.
as you sit to the door. Its like head just turns completely around as its body like whirs and clicks back and turns completely around, and you watch as it takes like 2 steps and then just knocks on the opposite end door. And then it knocks again.
Whose door is it knocking on?
Yours, Deidre.
Oh, I'll get up and open the door.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What can I help you with? Oh, wait, hold on. Beep boop boop beep beep boop boop bop beep.
You watch as it kind of just stares at you, and it's just like you hear the whirring and clicking in its head, and it goes from like a mild expression to a happy expression to a mild expression again.
Good morning.
So are you just gonna stand in the doorway, or?
I was just curious on what your name is, so I can register it.
Oh, you can just call me homegirl.
Registering homegirl.
As you watch as it clicks and whirs, and then turns face, and then walks away from you.
This is gonna be fun later.
And then you watch as it kind of just makes its way up the stairs, and then it kind of just goes off into a distance. Is there
Alright.
anything you two are doing?
Breakfast time. I'm gonna head to the kitchen.
Okay.
I'll follow behind her.
Alrighty.
Oh, he's scary looking.
As he makes his way towards the kitchen, he will make a few steps. Necro, you see as Kilroy starts making his way to the kitchen and then opens the door, and you hear him quietly, kind of like talking off in loudly in the kitchen. It's kind of hard to hear with the sound of a lot of the cutlery and everything being swept and taken care of as the ship continues to rock back and forth. The sun is both of the suns are quite high in the sky. Not too cloudy, pretty calm. The wind is quite strong this morning. You can see almost 360 degrees of just nothing but sea, but off to your left-hand side, kind of like where off you're staring off, you can see almost like a bit of a shore off into the unknown continent. And as you're kind of staring off and then seeing like the waves kind of crash against the side of the ship, we can take a small break.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem at all. If anybody needs to take a bathroom break or eat something, you can take this now. And we will reconvene here in a moment.
Right.
blessing
Wrong.
of a goddess. She said
Yeah.
What's that dark thing in the water?
Come on,
Hey.
guys. I trust anything that comes from the darkness.
It's true. Hey, Necro's just waiting to speak with Death again. They got a arrangement that needs to be had.
Very true.
Lips to lips.
Oh boy.
Wait,
He's
were you
kind of
kissing?
spoken for,
Oh,
sir.
yeah. Yeah, he's about to be spoken for again.
Daria actually thinks you're kind of cool, and she's a little intimidated by you.
I think a lot of people on this ship are quite intimidating.
Me?
Yeah, but she likes
Please.
Necro's style the best because she's into ghost stuff and undead and stuff like that.
Well, I definitely described Daria as a literal, like, ghostly presence, like almost like a banshee kind of.
Yep, I almost drowned one time. I was dead
Cool.
for 1 minute. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Or was
But I survived. I survived death.
Unfortunately, I died, but I lived.
Yeah.
See, Necro likes how noble he thinks One Eye is, especially right now. But he trusts Deidre because Deidre didn't stab him in the back.
Hey, nor did One Eye.
No, One Eye didn't either, but Deidre was like trying to make that performance be the best performance ever.
Emily hated you.
That's alright. Necro wanted to kill Amelie.
Just based on alignment, it did not work. I understand.
I'm letting you know, if there was an opportunity, it would have happened. It's alright.
We all back?
Are we all back?
What
Are we all? Good. Deidre poops. Good.
Nice.
Morning poop out.
Good sign, good sign.
Is the Thal and the Ron here?
Was Thal here even to begin with, before you took our break?
I think
Yes.
he's been here for a while.
Yeah, he had a tooth surgery today, so he's trying to do the least amount of talking.
Right, yeah.
Well, whenever you get back, Sage, if you can hear us, just let us know when you're back.
Okie dokie. I'm back.
Okay, cool.
Huzzah.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I'll let you know, okay? Alright. Well, we'll get back to it. I believe the two ladies were making their way up towards the quarterdeck to go get some breakfast. While that's going on, Daria, did you say you wanted to do something? Daria?
Sorry, there was a cat fight.
You're totally fine.
She's gonna go fishing. Just right over here. She's gonna take a rope with her. And her fishing pole.
Alrighty. Some fishing, alright. I believe as well mostly everyone's making their way towards that way, so Necro, you would see Deidre and the captain kind of sitting on. Are you just sitting on the edge, the lip of the ship, and just fishing from there?
Yeah, I have like a rope harness and I'm tied down, so if I fall off, I'm not gonna fall into the ocean.
Alrighty.
Just trying not to get keel hauled.
Okay. One eye as well. You with walking up the stairs with Oma as well. You'll see the captain just kind of throwing a line out, as you see Necro kind of just looking over the side of the ship, kind of just staring off and towards the shore. And you'll see as well that Deidre and Rana made their way towards the kitchen.
As I walk by the captain fishing. Ugh, good luck. I hate that.
Thanks.
I don't know how you do it. It's probably the most boring thing I can imagine doing.
Well, passes the time.
I can think of better ways.
Just roll me a nice flat d20 for your fishing there.
18.
18, not bad, not bad. After a while or so, it doesn't seem too busy. The line doesn't necessarily feel like a tug or a sink of the. Are you using like a weight or anything on there?
Probably.
I didn't know if you're trying to go for like deeper fish.
Probably.
Okay.
Because it'd be kind of difficult since the ship is moving, the waves would.
Yeah, that's true. With it sinking pretty quite low, I'm sure you would have put a decent amount of weight on the hook with the bait. After not too long, you actually feel a good hook. You feel a good like tug at it for a moment, and kind of wait a moment just to see if it was just the sea kind of pulling at it. As you watch as the tip of your fishing rod kind of begins to bend, and you completely notice that something must be nibbling or at least hooked onto the bait. As you give it a good tug, give me a strength check for me.
Just flat strength.
Yeah.
I'm not that strong.
Okay. You pull and you kind of give it a little bit of slack, and then you pull again as you pull more of your body back into it, and as you lean back onto the ship as the bow begins to kind of push across the waves of the sea as it crashes, and you pull up a decent sized fish. It looks like a about a good 14-inch carp.
Alrighty. I'm gonna toss
It
on
would
the
be a
deck
carp.
because I figure the servants will grab it and do something with it, and then I just toss my reel back into the water.
All right. As you're doing so, One Eye, you said you wanted to go look at the actual artillery.
Indeed.
Okay. You could see that there are two different types of ballistas that actually look like they're modified a bit. They look like normal ballistas. Besides the bases of them, they're actually have like these like built-in like wheel ends like that can just sit on this like metal track that goes across the actual ship. So if you actually want to move a mounted large ballista a lot easier against this like almost like rolling track, you can take like possibly yourself or another and lift these large ballistas onto the track to be able to easily movement across these large tracks to easily manipulate them across the actual ship themselves, depending on if you're trying to aim at any direction, which is quite handy. And then as you walk across a bit, you see this large three-barreled cannon, and you see nearby these like crates that are kind of like have these metal like straps that are barred across them that are like almost locked and have like a big padlock onto them as well. And you see these familiar looking large circular, almost like glass ammunition, and you see this kind of like, well, before you even see them, you hear them, of the familiar hum of a this ammunition that gives off the same familiarity of when you saw John Lash's firing arm, but these are like almost cannonball size. And you see different like crackling magical energy in arcana inside of them that kind of just flash occasionally but give off this very quiet stilled hum, as this is a magical cannon that has three different types of ammunition. One of them is one of them. Let me double check. Yeah, it's one of them is what looks like a uh, cannonball-sized with a flickering of like this dull flame inside of it with different types of blue and yellowish colors of like an actual living burning flame inside of it. And then you kind of look over off to the side and this other uh, locked weird chest that holds more of this ammunition. And you see this crackling electricity of energy kind of building and humming inside of it as it kind of sparks off a couple flashes every once in a while. And then you look down to see another crate as well, giving off the same type of hum as you. Even before you put your hand near it, you feel like almost a chill as you see like trapped inside of these big cannonball-sized ammunition. It looks like almost like a snowflake kind of just like dancing in the center of it, of this like cold frost that just builds across this ammunition as well. So you see this magical cannon that shoots 3 different types of magical energy across it, and it's very intricate and beautifully detailed. The actual barrel of the guns are quite large, almost not a little bit 2 times bigger than an average cannon size. The barrels themselves quite slender, and then you see that it looks like a contraption to pull back and set in, kind of like a have you ever been to like a bowling alley where you see like where you throw the balls into? It almost comes, the barrels of the guns actually come kind of like open and cock back out, and where you can actually set these large ammunitions and then push them back into like a sliding mechanism that puts them into place. And you can see what looks like a little seat and aiming like crosshairs as well, just kind of latched to the side of it.
Okay. I'm gonna give it the once over, try to take it all in, get an understanding of it, and try to fiddle with it as well. I'm not gonna try to fire it, but
yeah, you can easily sit it. You can sit in it and sit down, and it's like got like a whole seat and everything. And you see like these 2 different levers. One that kind of you spin off to the left hand side and kind of crank to move it from like left to right or up and down based on whatever wheel bend that you're trying to go on. And you can either let it rise or fall. And you can see that this cannon as well can also look like it is mostly mounted to the front of the ship itself, but if need be, it looks like it can also be put down on the track.
Okay.
As well as you're kind of just like looking around this kind of area as well, you see different types of like tools kind of sitting about, and as you're kind of like looking at them, you see a crate kind of like be lifted on its own and then starts walking towards the middle of the ship, and you watch as like the tools themselves actually start lifting off the ground, and you see a couple of the tools kind of go off to the side of the railing and like tighten up a few of the bolts that are on the track itself. And as the tools kind of float there and kind of like tighten up some of the bolts, you see as well a off to the side underneath where more of these different types of equipments can be attached to the railing. You see this large looking crane. Actually, it's like a metal crane, and you see etched on the side with a different type of mounted like machinery to be able to, what looks to you kind of like a barge crane, where you would usually use something like this to the side of a ship or on a dock to like lift heavy crates. But it is so like armored and has like this thick looking chain barred to it. You can kind of assess with a lot of your actual sea experience that this looks something more of like a scrounging crane, which would be used to like, you can attach it to like a ship or a vessel to lift like wreckage or ship wreckage, or even like underwater, basically, like if you wanted to pick up like large heavier scraps or even like chests or submerged pieces of wreckage. If you wanted to actually use this as like a searching vessel, or even like a literal crane to search for different types of wreckage and possible loot as well.
Hmm. Okay. Make mental notes. Salvaging and or treasure hunting ship.
True. Very true. Is there anything else anybody else is doing while One Eye is kind of just looking about?
Necro's probably gonna start heading into the dining hall or the kitchen.
Okay. As everyone is making their way towards the kitchen, you see a few floating knives and forks and a couple plates kind of clattering to the table itself, as you see like fried eggs, and you see cooked eggs in different ways. You can see it like some sunny side up, some scrambled. You see some root vegetables and onions kind of like cut up into them, and you see kind of like almost like a mixed of like a hash, or even they put down like a large bowl of like oats that are like mashed, and you see another like, well, you don't see it, but you see a floating bowl of like different fruits kind of set in the middle of the table, and you watch as like the candelabra in the middle of the table slowly gets like lit as a floating pack of matches begins to light itself and then light the candles that are sitting on the table. Who else is also sitting in the kitchen as well?
Yeah.
I believe it's me and Rana.
Okay. Okay. Necro, as you walk in, you see Rana, Deidre, and you see a very haggard and very tired Fulgrim kind of leaning forward on the table a bit. Bugger looks a bit kind of shaken as he's just kind of lying, even sitting at the table itself. He's kind of just sprawled, kind of splooted across the entire what's left of the hay that he's kind of laying on, and kind of looking very quite exhausted as he kind of laps down at some a water dish that looks like it was left out. As Fulgrim kind of just leans forward with a bit of a headache as he kind of sits there at the table, kind of playing with his food on his table, slowly trying to eat it, bringing his head, one of his hands to his ear occasionally when the door comes to a shut.
Yeah, Necro's probably gonna go sit in the same seat right near Bugger.
Okay.
All right, or maybe grab some food unless the food's already on the table.
Yeah, a lot of the food is actually kind of just displayed around the actual table and just kind of left as kind of like a buffet. Kind of grab whatever you feel, and then there's a stack of plates and a few cutlery and a few glasses kind of set off to the side.
Yeah, Necro's gonna sit down. He's probably gonna grab like something green and toss it over to Bugger.
Okay. You see him kind of like splooted down and kind of like lapping down at the water dish that's kind of like set on the ground, and you just grab do you see different yeah, what are you grabbing him, a fruit, or are you trying to grab him like a vegetable?
Probably some sort of vegetable, maybe like a carrot
Okay.
or something.
Okay. Yeah, you can easily grab him like a carrot, or like you see like a radish possibly as well.
Yeah, just something. Just because,
Okay. You throw it down by the water dish, and it kind of looks up at you. You see its eyes kind of wobble a little bit as it looks up to you. Ah, as it kind of laps down at the water, and then like starts eating the leafy parts of the root vegetable as it makes its way and starts nibbling down on it.
yeah, perfect. Yeah, Necro's just gonna start eating his food.
I'll probably make my way to the dining area in a little bit as well.
Alrighty. Is Oma in tow?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Where I go, Oma goes.
Indeed. So I will put you in here. You, as you walk in, you see the actual kitchen itself. It's starting to get a little full. As soon as you walk in, you see Rana right ahead of you, and you see Deidre to your right, enjoying her breakfast as well. And Necro kind of just you watch as he almost as soon as you walk in, you see him kind of Necro chuck down like what looks like a large like carrot down towards Bugger as he kind of like nibbles down on it, and you see Thorgrim just kind of hands and head and hands.
Gotcha. Like head in hands as if he was struggling. Like
A bit. It looks like he's very dealing with quite a headache.
Gotcha.
You hear the sounds of like a few like pots and pans coming to a still as everyone starts making their way in, and you see flames of like actual the cook and everything beginning to turn and clean up, and you actually see a mop kind of lift itself and then dunk it into a bucket and then start wiping down like behind the actual kitchen bar itself, and starts like slowly making its way around towards the back of you, Necro, as it kind of starts cleaning up more of like the loose hay and stuff that's kind of being dropped onto the ground.
I don't know. Necro's on face. He's just chilling right now, eating his breakfast.
Alrighty. If there is no more conversations or anything else that anybody else would like to do, just let me know. And if anybody who wants to roll the next d20 for this day.
I can do it.
Okay. Go for it, won't I? Just a flat d20.
Oh no.
3. We love to see it. Alright.
Throw the shit at me.
Alrighty.
Release the Kraken.
Last time I rolled a 3, I nearly died.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, you sit down, one eye for your breakfast, and everyone continues to eat it. Everything seems quite fine. The ship seems steady. The day seems calm. The wind is quite strong, but it's not too harrowing. Daria, as you're kind of fishing there, are you still fishing? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'll probably fish for a few hours, and then around noon I'll do my rounds, and then go
Okay.
get some lunch.
All right. As you're kind of casting your line for like the third or fourth time or so, and not really getting too much more, you kind of something kind of shiny kind of glints into the side of your eye for a moment as you kind of like bring your hand up, thinking like possible like maybe a new like a school of fish is like birthing over the sea itself, and you see two large moving. Not really sure, actually. It looks like two lumbering large objects off in the distance, possibly. It's kind of in your way as well. The ship is kind of heading a direct pace towards it as you see what looks like two large, like reefs, kind of coming over the actual sea itself, and kind of just large pillars of like reef, kind of standing out into the ocean itself. Can you give me a perception check? All right, you look off and you kind of bring your hand to your forehead for a bit and kind of like getting the sun away from your eyes as you try to gauge what you're seeing here. And from where you're standing, it just looks like two large pillars of like reef, kind of just like built up over the actual sea itself and just kind of caressing on the water. And as it gets closer and closer, you realize that almost to this whole side of the ship where you're kind of fishing, you kind of bring in your line a little bit as you see these two giant reefs kind of walking. Yeah, like humanoid large corals and crustaceans across the actual sea as it moves. And you see gigantic, what looks like humanoid like trees, but made of barnacles and actual coral itself, like different colors of like pink and blue and purple, and different types of like starfish kind of like growing off of it and barnacles. As you see, as it gets closer and closer, these large treants that are kind of made out of this large like coral that builds around their bodies. And as they're kind of like two of these are walking past you, kind of almost in the way of the ship a little bit, you feel the actual ship itself lurch a little bit as it kind of gives birth to these two gigantic beings as they kind of just slowly walk across the sea, kind of almost parallel to the actual ship itself. And as both of them are kind of walking past the actual ship itself, as you guys are going by, one of the large treants kind of look over off to you. It has like this large coral, like broken off nose that kind of bends downwards, and you can actually see this large one of the ones farthest away from you, not the one that's exactly close to the ship, looks like it's carrying something on its back. And as it kind of like as the ship completely, as you guys like almost in slow motion a bit kind of like pass by each other, you see these two giant treants made of coral kind of, one of them is holding a cage behind its back, and inside the cage you can see several different humanoids inside of it.
No, dang. I wasn't going to get involved, but now I have to.
You see them just kind of lumbering there, and then they continue to walk kind of past you. One of the ones that's closer to the ship kind of notices you, but then just kind of like looks away and then just keeps on walking. As you see the large cage on the other one's back, the farthest away from you, you see a couple of hands and legs kind of like hanging off the side, a lot of them lumped forward. And then as it's like passing by the ship, you see a few, like, it's kind of hard to see from this distance, but you see a few humanoid faces kind of looking off at you, and then you hear kind of muffled voices kind of shouting and waving their hands at you to try to get your attention.
Kilroy, prepare the ship for battle.
You see Kilroy immediately turn the ship off to the side.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I'm gonna untie myself and go into the dining room.
Okay.
Actually, sorry to interrupt, but would I feel the ship immediately change course and know?
Yeah, you would have felt it. Like you felt it slowly, kind of like turn a little bit, but then immediately, just like a few moments before you hear her walking into the actual kitchen, you feel it lurch again to the opposite direction.
We're preparing for battle. If you guys don't want to get injured, go on under the deck. If you would like to help, stay up here.
Oh, I thought I'd be bored, and I'd put down everything that I was eating with and just get right up and get ready to go.
Yeah, Necro just gets up, grabs his weapon, and he already starts heading out the door. Yeah, he's not gonna go to the lower deck. He's probably gonna watch right away. So he's probably just gonna like figure out what the hell's going on before he makes a decision.
I am gonna have to zip to the lower deck and grab my weapons and gear.
That's totally fine. As you, Necro, and One Eye kind of step out in a bit of a more haste, you see as Kilroy is moving the ship in a circular motion to try to keep these two treants in sight and not lose sight of them, and kind of like almost circle back around towards them again. You see these large moving treants that are walking throughout the actual sea itself, made of this large like coral kind of built across them, and you see one of them the farthest away as the ship is beginning to turn. The one with the cage on its back is actually is on your right hand side, and the ship begins to lurch and creak as it begins to come back to the other side again to meet up, and also even slow as Kilroy kind of gestures to the invisible servants to bring up sails to slow the ship's rise as the actual wind itself begins to come from a different direction, so they don't push themselves back. And then the ship begins to slow as one of you go down towards the lower deck to get your armor yourself and grab your weaponry. What is everybody else doing at this moment?
Preparing and then going up.
Okay. Deidre, Rana?
I'm gonna follow the chaos.
You should all be able to move your pieces as well on the actual map itself if you want to position yourself wherever on the ship.
Which deck would we be on? This one?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the quarterdeck.
Okay.
Rana gets up to help too.
Hello, tree.
Oh my god. Yeah, about there. And
So if it's coral, is it a corallant
yes,
instead of a treant?
like a treant, but it's made out of coral.
Corn?
Our goal is to get the people in the cage onto this ship. After that, we're going to flee. That's our only goal. If you have to kill any of the others, then do so. But only in self-defense.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I don't know if I'm present to hear this. Did not hear.
Yeah, you
ignoring
definitely
orders.
didn't hear that. It was more muffled as you're like gathering armor and putting your
Well,
actual
I was
weapon.
gonna say
Proceeds
that,
to
like,
ignore orders. No, just kidding.
I was gonna say it like right after we went outside, so you probably would have been on the front top of the deck before. I was just waiting for everyone else to do their action first.
Yeah, well, I went below deck because I need to get my shit.
Yeah, I know. She was gonna say it as soon as she got outside of the kitchen.
Gotcha.
I was just giving everyone else a chance to do something.
Gotcha.
Now that you've gotten a lot closer and the ship is actually turning itself, you see the closest treant to you actually has the cage on its back, and now that you can see closely, you see what looks like a bunch of normal humanoids have a bunch of looking cloth. They're wearing what looks like normal like ship attire. You see a few of them kind of like look a bit badgered, and a few of them injured. A few of them more towards the lower part of the cage kind of look like either unconscious or asleep, or some of them look quite like starved, or even a few of them looked a bit like shell shocked, as some of them are kind of like hands and legs are kind of like sticking out of the cage and kind of just dangling there. And you watch as one of the humanoids like clambering over the other ones that seem like unmoving. You see one of them kind of outstretch his hands towards you, Daria. Please save us. We don't want to go to back.
I'm not gonna respond. Can I cast a spell? How far away is he?
The one closest to you is like 15 feet.
Alright.
Well, with Kilroy actually manning the helm, it's about 5 to 10 feet. He got pretty close.
Alright, the one with the cage, I'm going to cast Frostbite on. So I need a Constitution saving throw.
All right. Before we do that, actually, no, we'll do this as a surprise round because they're not really noticing anybody at the moment.
Oh.
So if anybody wants to do anything during the surprise round, let me know. First, you said you're casting what spell?
Frostbite. I need a Constitution saving throw of 13.
All right.
Is it alright if I just assume that I've gotten my stuff gathered up and on and ready to go and back, and I make it up to the deck in this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
With
Cool.
all the ship being positioned and slowed, the sails being loosened and slackened, and Daria casting out commands to everyone. That's more than enough time, and by that time you see Daria kind of like lifting her hands and beginning to cast a spell. That's a natural 1 on that save.
Ah.
So
Can I
they only
freeze
have
it?
about a 7 on that. So
Yeah, I was also gonna say I think Necro's probably gonna also go up there, mainly because he's been up there already. He's kind of familiarized himself a little bit with what's going on up there, because he's not good at that long range shit.
okay. Daria, can you explain what your spell looks like?
I basically shoot out a blue jet of cold that covers the creature in frost.
All right. As you kind of extend your hands outwards toward the treant with the cage, it kind of like as soon as you like bring your hands out and this cold chill comes across you, and you can even start seeing your breath as this ray of like absolute frost comes from your hands and kind of sprays at this large treant. It kind of brings its hand that's kind of like clasping the cage and brings its other hand to kind of like block a lot of the frost that's up to its face, and it just kind of like rustles itself as it kind of like all this like barnacles and the actual coral of itself begin to like crystallize as it brings its hand up, and then it brings its hand back down again and kind of just looks over at you confused. And you see a couple of the humanoids in the cage kind of like shouting excitedly as they're kind of standing on top of each other now, kind of like trying to like bang at the cage that they're kind of in as the other treant kind of starts facing towards you. Deidre, was there anything you wanted to do during the surprise round?
I wanted to cast the Thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy?
Yeah.
Alright. What are you trying to do?
So, the closest tree guy, well, the coral guy, my bad. I wanted to cast it on him, and that one, there we go. I wanted to do more of like another vocal phenomena.
Okay.
And see, well, hold on. Before I do that, actually, do they know common?
Give me a
Nature?
yeah, sure, a nature check.
Alrighty, oops, how do I get back to my core? Nature check. Oh, 20!
Dirty 20.
As you kind of stare at these kind of like large, like naturist coral beings that kind of like turn towards you as you kind of bring out your hands to cast this spell, your knowledge of nature and where you grew up, knowing the tales of different moving and sentient large trees, you would understand that possibly they could possibly know common, but most of them just, speak throughout like plants.
Alright.
So they possibly could
Then-
know common.
I'm not gonna chance that. I'm still gonna use that spell, but
Okay. And you said you're gonna use it as like to make your voice like booming or like a sound.
no, I think I'm gonna do a minor wonder instead, or like a sign of supernatural. And yeah, the range is 30 feet, so I'm assuming they both could see that then.
What are you trying to like? What
I'm
are you
gonna
trying
try
to
and
manifest?
cast, like I'm gonna try and appear before them, like to fog out the ship, make them see like another cage almost, more victims to come and pick up, like they almost missed it, try to lure them in so we can get people out of the ones they have.
You want to like make like a little cage, like a almost like a image of like a little cage, or like almost like billowing fog or something.
Maybe like the exact same cage, like you dropped it or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
the
That, like they
cage
dropped
that's on his back is quite large, so it would be hard to make like a smaller version of it. I mean, you can make a smaller version of it, but it's like not exactly the same size.
It doesn't have to be the same size, but it has to be close enough to like where they might give it like a second look and be like, oh, maybe it fell off on our way walking or something, or like another one of these dudes dropped it and we just need to go grab it real quick because these little peoples in here are precious to us.
Alrighty. Well, you kind of cast it and you kind of make what looks like an image of a cage, kind of like over the sea, like almost kind of in front of the other one that they could could have accidentally dropped another cage that they were carrying, or maybe like scoop up some more humans because these guys look like they need more humans. And the other one kind of looks at what you're doing and curiously and just kind of sees like this image kind of like forming on the actual top of the sea. And it looks kind of distracted, I guess. It's kind of just looking over it and just kind of curiously trying to understand what you're trying to do. One Eye, were you doing anything during this surprise round?
Probably not. Except maybe, well, for now, I'm just gonna observe. And then... Yeah,
Did you want to hold the action or anything?
Oh, I guess well... No, I don't think I really have one. I guess I'll cast Produce Flame and just hold on to it.
Okay.
'Cause
And
I can just
Necro, you
hold
said
the-
you were just kind of chilling?
Yeah, I probably went up there like as soon as I realized that we were gonna be fighting here. But yeah, I don't think there's much that Necro is going to do here.
Okay. Rana, was there anything you would like to do during this surprise round?
Thinking. I don't think they're close enough for me to do anything.
I mean, you could position yourself wherever you would like to make yourself a little bit closer.
I mean, obviously it's going to take up a turn, correct?
No. I mean, you guys had a lot of time to prepare this like surprise attack, so I was kind of letting you guys set up however you need to cast something or do something.
Okay. No, I think I'm good for now.
Okay. You watch as like this small ray of kind of frost kind of goes across one of his treants as he brings his hand up kind of to take some he takes some of the damage as he kind of just like is confused, and you see the other one kind of strangely looking over towards Deidre as like this image of like the top of like a cage over the sea as it kind of like looks curiously over at it. The one with the cage kind of adjusts himself so the cage is more tightened around towards his back so he has a better of a grip of it, and then he kind of just turns to kind of like face all of you and steps closer as you hear this sound of like thundering steps as they make their steps towards the actual the side of the ship, and kind of leans over towards the ship, and the ship even itself with the water kind of just pushes and leans towards the actual treants itself as it brings one of its hands to the side of the ship, kind of, and you watch as like these large barnacles and actual like parts of the actual coral and sea life that kind of grows off these large tree like beings as it kind of like extends across the side of the ship as it grips hard onto it. You hear the sound of the ship kind of wincing a bit as it kind of comes to the side, and it looks over at you as you see these like deep like black and yellowish flickering eyes kind of deep setted into these large treants as they kind of looks you in the eyes all of you, and just kind of like you hear like the sound of like rustling like leaves and twigs kind of snapping as it brings its other hand up again and kind of like pulls on this like seaweed like beard under its chin and looks at you all inquisitively. What is your business?
those people on your back?
These are prisoners.
What crime have they committed?
Pirates. We caught them a few days ago. A few groups of pirates that were storming this beach and slaughtering and, pirating. We were on our way to the prison.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize. I thought. I'm sorry. This is a misunderstanding.
He kind of looks curiously over back at you, seeing that you're kind of helming this
Sheepish.
conversation a bit. It looks over at you and then kind of you watch as it breaks some of the frost off of its face and kind of rubs its chin again.
Why would you attack us then?
I thought you were taking those people hostage. I thought they were innocent.
He takes rises his hand and lifts the cage over again, and then kind of sets the cage down on a little bit on the sea as some of the people get sunk, and you watch as the bubbles kind of come up a little bit. It doesn't fully submerge the cage at all, but kind of just holds it there for a moment, and then just holds it aloft to kind of show all of you.
These pirates have been bothering the innocent people on the shore. We're just taking them over to Boulderbrook Prison.
I bet you won't eat one. Do it. Afternoon snack. Eat one of them.
Poets, be silent. Can I do an insight check on him?
Yeah, go for it.
Inside that tree.
What should I do?
Wants to see if it's lying.
Mm-hmm. You kind of look at its face, and you've talked and bartered many times before, and had quite a lot of tough customers. You look like he's telling the truth.
All right. Well, it's my responsibility to also protect people on these seas, so I apologize for attacking you. I misunderstood the situation and responded inappropriately.
I accept your apology.
As it kind of lifts the cage back down onto its shoulder again, as it lifts it up, and you hear the cries of the people in the cage crying off again, as it kind of the other one walks forward and kind of pokes a couple of the people back and pushing them back into the cage again, as a few of them sticking their limbs and arms and legs out again and kind of shouting out at them, "Come on, we just wanted to be free. Do you know what the fucking prison's like these days? It's so fucking cold."
I'm going to ignore them.
The other one
chanting,
starts
"Eat them."
the other one starts poking the other one's in the belly, and it's just like,
I don't eat flesh like this. Too gangly for my taste.
Aww.
Imagine pirates be all that advertising. They're rotten to the core.
Very
That's not a
much
show.
so. We shall be on our way then, unless you want to throw more icicles at us.
I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do to make it up for you? Up to you.
I hold up the fire. I could defrost you.
Not happening.
it kind of ponders for a moment.
Just don't follow us.
We won't. We're going the opposite direction.
We going dead away.
It kind of brings the cage back up onto its shoulder and then turns face as the other one kind of looks over at all of you and then kind of waves a little bit towards all of you.
I'm gonna wave back.
Good day.
You as well.
As the large thundering steps of these trains continue to move across the sea as like you watch as like few kind of like schools of fish kind of like thread themselves through them almost like a natural current and like a normal fish bed and as you see them much up closer you can even see wildlife like living and growing on them as you see like crabs and other crustaceans beginning to like skitter across their lower parts and you see even schools of fish continuing to like completely submit themselves around the bases of these large corals that continue to move and they move with
Not
them as you
happening,
see like
Wendell.
like schools of fish that have looked like they've been traveling for long periods of time and as they kind of nibble up and kind of like bring breach at the sea and they kind of nibble on some of the coral and some of the plankton that's growing off of them.
Well, that was embarrassing. Kilroy, back to course.
Aye, aye, ma'am. As you feel the ship beginning to lurch once again as it turns face back towards the direction of the actual continent itself and coasting across, you see a large bridge coming into view from off in the distance that you'll possibly be going under before you make your way and curving across the actual unknown continent again as you see these large trees starting to disappear behind the ship as well. Is there anything you guys are doing?
I'm sorry, guys. False alarm.
Eh.
Going back to my food.
Eh, well, I guess safer is better than more important, or excuse me, being safe is more important than having fun, I suppose.
Hey,
I disheartenedly just take my stuff back down quarters and put my shit away.
poor One Eye.
No.
I don't know. The rest of the day the seas seem fair, and if there's anything other conversations or anything else anybody would like to do,
Yeah, just probably going to the kitchen, going back to my food. That's about it right now.
okay.
Got interrupted.
No, you're totally good. I was just making sure that everyone, if anybody else wanted to do anything throughout this day, 'cause I'm trying to speed up the actual days of travel on the ship a bit. So if we wanted to continue going forward, so if anybody wants to do anything before this day ends, we can just end it and then just roll for another D20 for the next day.
What? People don't like boat travel?
I'm just
But
gonna
this is their only time to get to know me.
It's true. I mean, I said if anybody wants to have any RP or have any conversations or any, like, anybody wants to investigate more of the ship, you're more than welcome to. If not, we can just go to the next day and roll another D20.
After I put my things away, I'm just gonna come back onto the top deck and just find the majority of the people and just dice anyone.
Don't do it. He's gonna try to choke you with them.
Not my plan, though I was planning on trying to take some money, but
Okay, well then give me money and you can take it back.
no.
Hmm.
Oma looks up at you, One Eye.
If I win, I get their gold.
Wendell, I am
And what would you
the
do with gold?
ghost. I'm like undead.
Give it to you, master.
Oh, don't master me.
You're too far
Get
from the
out here
story,
with that.
Wendell.
What should I call you?
One
Sir?
Or Yarjabut, I don't care.
Yarr!
Actually, it'd be Saram. Yarjabut's the kind name.
I do fancy Saram.
Saram, then.
Then Saram it will be.
Anyway, so is that no on the dice?
How do you play it?
Well, the game that I know well is Liar's Dice. Everybody takes a batch of dice, and I have enough we roll, and then we try to bluff each other on how many dice are on the table of a certain type. I can get more in detail when we actually play the game, but yeah, it's if you're willing.
I'll play once.
Anyone else?
Oh, Necro's eating food. He's got no clue.
Daria's gonna go hang out with Kilroy and look around to make sure nothing else weird is gonna happen today.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
we'll ask Kilroy to play.
You could.
He seems
I will
very,
poke. I
very
will
friendly.
poke my head out. Like if my only option is Deidre and Oma, then it's just like, oh shit. I'm gonna poke my head out and be like, Captain.
Didn't realize you were in charge of daycare today.
Yeah.
What do you need?
Dice. I'll just shake a hand, like a fist at her, simulating like dice shaking.
Maybe in the evening.
Ah, come on. Caesar calm. The only thing we ran into was trees.
Yes, but those trees were holding prisoners.
Don't you have an army of invisible seamen?
No, they just do chores. They don't attack.
But they could warn you if they see something, could they not?
No, they don't talk.
Alright, what about your first mate then?
Yes, technically he could.
There, problem solved, come play.
Fine, if you insist. Cooling down these stairs. What are we playing?
Liar's dice.
I think I've only played once before with another passenger.
Wow. What? Alright, yeah. Alright,
As you
so
can see, I didn't get very many guests on this ship. Most of them are robots or invisible.
my condolences. So, alright, so before I actually start trying to get into actual liar's dice, are we actually going to try to play liar's dice?
Go for it.
It's like when you roll in the cup and you have to guess what the other people's numbers are, kind of
You're,
like the
you're guessing
types
what's
of-
on the... So, you get, I believe it's 6 dice. Hold on, I gotta double check the rolls. It's been a little bit.
I'm pretty sure it's 6d6, right?
I think that's what everybody gets. And it is, generally it is done with cups. You roll them, keep them covered. You look at your own, and only your own, and you basically got to go around the table and make a claim about what is under all of the cups. Like you're trying to guess at what's on the entire table, and you're guessing in increments. It has to go up. You either go up the number of dice or the number on the dice. So, for example, if I guess that there's, I don't know, 4 ones, the next person would have to say either 5 ones or something, like 3 twos. And you go around until eventually somebody calls you a liar, and then you all check. And if the liar is correct, they win the pot. Or, sorry, no. If the person that called liar is correct, they win the pot. If they're wrong, then they're out.
Alright. Why don't we bet questions instead of money?
Huh?
The winner gets to ask all the losers a question they have to answer honestly. Instead of
So-
gold.
Oh, no. Alright. Fine.
I'm not really big on gambling, but I thought information might be more valuable.
I don't know about more valuable, but when I scrumbled.
Is that acceptable for you, Harlot?
I don't think that's a nice way to talk to the lizard man. I think you should apologize.
I'm talking to you. I don't remember your name.
have
That's
you
not of
seen this bug?
importance right now.
Alright, then I'll just keep calling you Harlot.
You have to pay me each time you say it then.
I don't think I do, since you refused to give me your name.
Well, if you're calling me by pet names, I think I should charge.
You can certainly try. But remember, this is my ship, and we're on an ocean, and no one can hear you scream.
I wish I couldn't hear.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Nope.
Hmm. Alright. Ah! How about that one?
Okay, why don't we play this in my quarters?
Can they hear me scream in there?
No.
Cast silence.
Oh, hell yeah.
Cast darkness. Sheets in the everyone's cups.
As you guys are for making your way to the captain's quarters to play, Rana and Necro, are you doing anything while you're finishing up your breakfast?
Necro probably finished it by now. And realized that Thulgrim is feeling sickly. And Necro ain't no medic. So Necro's going to get up and walk out. Probably go back up top. Near the
Okay.
ballistas. Feels safe there.
What about you, Rana?
She finishes up her breakfast and kind of just lingers on the quarterdeck.
Alright. As you kind of make your way out towards the quarterdeck, you watch as you see a couple of the other crewmates start making their way towards the captain's quarters, and the door kind of shuts behind them. You hear the sounds of the sea calmly kind of crashing across the hull of the ship. A few kind of seagulls go flying by above. The treants that were once large and shadowing over the ship is now like small specks behind the ship as the shore continues to get closer and closer, and this large looking bridge that you guys are eventually going to go under continues to get closer and closer as the two suns beat down onto the ship, and the once passing rain overnight seems like a distant memory, as a lot of the ship here now is quite warmed from the day's sun. The smell of the salt, and you watch as a few push brooms continue to swab the deck as you see them just mindlessly dunking themselves in buckets of what looks like some type of polish or wash as it continues to scrub against the floors as you kind of walk and curiously look about.
That was way bigger than I thought it would be.
While you're doing that, let's go to this game of bluffs and go for the first round.
I'm curious how you're going to play that without real dice.
We can whisper roll it to the GM.
You can also just roll 6d6s.
Well, if we can see what everyone rolls, then it doesn't work.
Well, that's
Hold
how
on, let me go get my dice.
That's how role playing works, kiddos.
Well,
I'm gonna see if you guys can see this or not. You guys see
Yes.
that?
Yes.
I also put the actual rules, or at least the rules we'll go by for this game, in
Oh,
Discord.
Yep.
Well, I tried whispering it and it didn't work, so I'm gonna try it again.
Well, I can see it.
Yeah.
How many d6 are we rolling?
5 actually.
Oh,
5?
Oh, 5.
5.
You said 6.
I thought you said 6 at
Where's
first.
my
I did say
D6?
6, but I've looked up these rules and it's 5. Also, the rules were a bit different than what I described.
Why is there a 7?
Just
on
ever
here?
so slightly.
Oh, I think it's in it now.
Okay, yeah. Yes, this is 2 GM this time.
Is it okay if I roll my own, like, actual dice?
Yeah, you're fine.
Is the d6 the triangle one?
No.
No,
That's
it's the
that-
cube.
Yeah, it's the cube.
No, but that only
Give me
has
a sec.
5. Unless my pumpkin is 6.
Yes, the pumpkin would be 6.
Okay.
Or 1, I don't know.
It's because I have a 1.
Okay, so
Uh,
yeah, it's 6.
Sage sent me these dice, and I'm having trouble figuring them out.
I'm gonna be rolling for Oma.
Okay.
He's
That's
not have
okay.
fingers!
He's got fingers. He got to learn about this game all last night, so he's excited.
I'm just gonna go ahead and roll these two for deciding who starts the game.
Okay. Okay.
2 dice. The person with the highest combined score starts. So this is not to GM. This would just be for everyone. I got a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dario got an 8. Deidre, did you want to roll your 2d6?
Up. Sorry, I couldn't hear you because Trent's right here talking.
You're good.
No, come back and help me though, because I'm stupid. I need to roll what to...
2d6
Oh, for...
to determine who goes first.
Yeah.
So far, I got a 10, so I'm looking strong. Yep.
Oh, yeah, because I got a 5.
Unless Oma does better than me.
So do I just do this?
He will roll to his 2.
Can you not punch me?
He got a 9.
Okay, so I will go first. Alright, so everyone...
As you all are sitting in the captain's quarters with your dice under each of your cups, all of you have your palms over them, kind of tipping the cup towards yourself to see what numbers you have, as you kind of slyly look at each other.
So I'll make the first call. And we're gonna go clockwise, so it'll be it's clockwise in regard, well, I guess it'd be Daria next. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna look at what I got. Five threes. And then he looks over to Daria. So now you would make a call of either more threes, or fours, or more fours. Entirely up to you.
So I can change the number or I can bid higher.
You always have to go higher, but it can be in one or both categories. Either the face of the die, or the number of die. If that makes sense.
So if I say 4 6s, that'd be higher.
That
The way
would be
you said.
higher.
Alright, that's what I was saying. 4 6s.
Alright. Now, since 6s are the highest face, you could say the next person that goes, looking over at Deidre, you could say 5 2s. And because it's more dice, it still counts.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm struggling to understand this.
So, you're trying to make a prediction.
Wait,
about
so you said you had 5 5s though?
No,
okay.
it's 5
We're
5s.
we're taking guesses at what's on the table between all of us, and I motioned to the entire table. Under
Oh,
all of
okay.
these cups. We're guessing how many of a certain dice are under all of our cups together.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
There's
I
20
guessed,
dice in total.
yes,
So
I
I could-
guessed 4 twos.
What?
Pointing, and did I say 4
Mm,
twos?
No,
Or
you said
whatever.
5-5.
5 threes.
5
5
threes, that's what it was.
Oh,
But,
I'm like actually having a stroke.
so I said 5 threes, and then I point over to Daria. She guessed, what was it, 4 sixes? That was a
Yeah.
question. Yeah, okay. And so, because she gets a higher dice face value, that still counts as going up, even though the number of dice she guessed is lower.
So I could, in theory, go like 5 twos.
You could do 5 twos, or you could do 5 sixes, or you could do, well, yeah, actually, that's pretty much, since sixes are the highest face, you have to say something either more dice or, well, pretty much more dice is the
Higher
only option.
value.
Well, there is no higher value than 6, but
No,
higher
I'm
number
like
of dice.
higher. Yeah, that's what
Yes.
I meant. Yeah, 5
So,
twos.
and 5 twos then?
Liar.
All right. Oh. Alright. Now
I
we
don't
reveal what we
understand
have.
this. How am I lying?
So
I thought we
she's
were
calling
guessing
you
for
a liar.
everyone.
Well, you are guessing for everyone, but she's calling you a liar. So now we all reveal what we have. And
But
we're
wait,
gonna
I could
see
have
if you
called
guess
someone
right.
else a freaking liar?
You could have.
You could.
Oh
You
my
can
god, this
say-
game is
You can either say
bullshit.
someone. You can either
Now,
say
hold on.
open or liar.
Yes. And the point is, you're trying to guess that somebody's a liar when you think that the number of dice on the table don't add up to what they say. So, for example, you said 5 twos.
Alright, no, I can do this. Okay. Yeah. I
So now
will.
we're going to find out if there's 5 twos on the table.
Alrighty.
Deal the dice. I have a 5, 6, 3, 5, 3.
Oma lifts his cup as well, and he reveals that he has a 2, a 4, a 1, a 3, and a 3.
I forgot
No
he was
fives.
playing.
So,
And then you can choose what your ones are, right?
That's
Correct, they're
only 3
wild.
threes.
ones are wild. So,
Yeah.
yeah, with your ones, that is 5 twos.
I
I'm
win.
gonna
You
Two of
won
my
this.
dice and put them at the middle of the table. I'm out this round.
But Deidre, you won this round, so you get to ask anybody a question at this table. And they have to answer truthfully. Hence the
Alright.
captain's words.
So One Eye, where did you get your new little friend? As I motion to Oma.
Oh yes, I guess I haven't given a name. I told you his name yet. This is Oma, and I, for a while, had been trying to find a way to summon to my command an animal spirit. It's something I've been trying to do for a while, and in my most recent attempt, I felt pretty confident, and I guess technically it worked. Though not as I planned, I didn't summon an animal, as you can plainly see. I ended up with Oma.
That's pretty
How
cool.
very touching.
What was that?
How very touching.
Well, I'm certainly surprised, but not disappointed. I look forward to our adventures together, and Oma has had been a very interesting conversation, I will say.
Oma kind of turns to you and kind of nods as he looks over at you, Deidre, and his tongue kind of sticks out of his mouth and tastes the air for a moment as he stares at you and looks back at One Eye again.
I'm gonna stick my tongue out at Oma. Because he did the same.
Insult.
You, I just shove him across. Like, don't do that! You insulted his entire family line.
Oh.
One Eye
Shit.
looks. He looks over at you. One Eye.
Can I eat her?
I know you're joking, or at least you better be, because I know you're smarter than that.
It kind of like looks at you, just more of in a jokingly fashion, but kind of like has a hint of like seriousness to it.
I'm gonna need to figure you out. Definitely need to figure you out.
Well, Harlot, you get to start off the next round.
If you're gonna keep calling me that, you better kiss me, dang it.
I told you, if you don't want me to call it to you that, then give me your name.
Nah. I think it's sweet
Then
we have pet
Harlot-
names for each other.
Sure. Let's get started.
Is everyone playing another round?
I am. I'm willing. We don't have to, but I'm willing.
There were
Oh,
only
oh.
18 dice this round.
Actually, I think you're only supposed to put one dice in the middle.
Well, I called her a loser. I called her a liar out of turn, which means the stakes are doubled.
Oh,
So
I
lost
see.
2 dice.
Gotcha.
Wait,
I
so
see.
do we re-roll now?
Yes, we roll our dice
Yeah.
again.
Okay.
I only
Daria
have-
now has 3 dice now,
Yeah.
but the rest of us still have our 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Since she called out you and was wrong.
Alright, so I start the first call then?
As soon as
Yeah.
you roll your dice and everyone's set, I'll
Okay.
roll for Oma as well. All right.
Oops. Whenever anyone's ready.
We're all ready.
Everyone's ready.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna call that there are at least 4 4s.
No.
Hmm. Okay. It's Oma's turn.
Oma kind of looks over at you, Deidre, and then looks over at you, One Eye.
5 4s.
You're a liar, Oma. Show him.
He shows you his cup, and it has a 4, a 1, which he will make a 4, a 6, and a 3, and a 3.
Oh, I forgot about the wild ones.
I have a 3, a 5, and a 3.
Oh yeah, between the ones, yeah, there's plenty.
Oma looks over at you as you call him out, and then smiles.
I have thought well.
Good. I'm gonna take one of my dice and plop it in the middle of the table. Again.
The small dragon kind of looks over at you, Deidre, and kind of licks his lips.
I guess the
Okay.
dragon gets a question.
Stare at it unrelenting.
He would, yes. And and I assume neither of you know Draconic, so you just hear me whisper or hear me talk to Oma.
He's choking on a dice!
What do you
Oma
want to
kinda
ask, Oma?
Oma kind of scratches his chin for a moment. His claws kind of go across his metallic-like scales as he kind of looks across the group. And then kind of looks over at you, One Eye.
I wouldn't waste a question on me. We can talk later. I'm not
It
gonna withhold.
nods,
I'm not gonna withhold answers.
and then looks over It looks over at you, Daria.
How did this one die?
Pardon?
I believe she spoke of dying before.
Ah,
Oh, I don't think that wasn't in canon.
Oops.
yeah.
I
think
don't
that
know
was
that.
during
I
the
thought that was an
break.
open conversation.
Yeah,
My
that
bad.
was during our bathroom break.
Oh, you're good. You're totally good.
We were just
Um,
chatting.
There's plenty of cannons.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
but this
Get this guy
one
out of
them.
here. He's not even in the damn room.
Yeah, they weren't even during the bathroom break. They were up there, and I was sitting fishing. So
It's true. Man, what would Oma want to know?
I don't know. I feel like he'd still know that. You know, he's some spiritual being. It wouldn't. You can't like put it past him. He might know those things.
Hmm.
he was summoned by ocean mist. That is my theme.
Could hold the question for later if he wants. It's not like we're going anywhere.
He looks over at you again, one eye.
How long has she been captain?
Fair enough. And then I turn over to you, Daria.
I don't believe this is originally her ship. Looks quite old to her, and she looks quite young.
Okay. So, looking away from Oma, how long have you been captain of this ship? He asks.
Oh, since I was about 14, 15.
Is it your ship?
I'm 23 now.
So what? 7 or 8 years?
About.
Maybe 9. And was it yours? This ship? Originally?
Well, this actual ship as it is now has always been mine. But before that, the parts of it were from my father's ship that sunk.
Oh, I see.
I used some of the parts into building this new ship.
Impressive. I assume you didn't build it alone. Oh, sorry. Let's not. I won't distract you, friend. Well, actually, no. No, I would like to know.
I'll tell you guys later. We should finish the game.
Fair. I quickly try to translate that to Oma real quick, while at the same time motioning for everyone to roll again.
Kind of looks over at you as you kind of explain what she said back to him, and he kind of nods.
How curious.
Indeed.
Elmo gets to start the round. Well, I guess the dragon does. I don't think I know Elmo's name, unless you told me.
I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah.
told Deidre.
Oh, I did say it aloud, yeah.
True.
Oh, okay.
Oma kind of like slightly lifts his cup, looks over at it, looks at everyone around, and then looks over to you, one eye.
I start right.
Actually, the loser starts. It's me.
Oh, I think I didn't know.
Uh, 3 6s.
4 6s.
When I look
Dare I
across.
say 5 6s?
Let me
Look to
see
Oma.
what he would do.
He does
He looks
have
over at you, one eye.
He does have an intelligence of 8, if that helps at all.
It is true. That's why I rolled, just in case. He looks a bit nervous in his face a bit, and then looks over at you again, one eye.
Go with your
Open.
gut. I was just gonna say, go with your gut. He's calling you. I'm looking over at Deidre.
All right.
Show him.
I have a 6, a 3, and a 2.
I also have a 6.
Uh,
So there's 4. What is?
Oma has 3 5s, a 4, and a 2.
Oh, didn't you say 5 6s?
She did say 5 6s,
Shit.
We only have 4 6s.
even with the wild.
Dang.
You're out.
One die down.
Alrighty.
And I guess you get another question. Or no, Oma gets the question again.
Yeah.
Oma's like eyes kind of like squint towards you, Deidre, and then back at you, one eye.
She is quite curious.
You're telling me.
What is her name again?
Deidre.
Deirdre.
Since I'd be saying that in, well, a name usually doesn't have any like translation, so you do hear me say your name, Deidre.
Mm-hmm.
Rude.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Just,
I don't know any
just
Deidre.
I just imagine just like Deidre.
I don't know any Deidre.
I can't think of a good question.
Then hold it for later. We have time.
Yes. Lots of time.
Oma's going to be holding his question.
Alright, well, keep it in mind that we owe you an answer.
He nods.
All right, roll him again.
I think the harlot starts.
Christ almighty. Alrighty, 2 6s.
Did I not name drop Deidre during this yet?
No, you
Yeah.
did, but like you didn't.
You
were
said it
speaking
in
Draconic,
Draconic.
You just.
so I assumed
True.
it was part
But the
of
Deidre
Draconic.
name does stand out, yes.
Yeah, I thought maybe I mentioned it like, oh, Deidre, you won or lost around.
Yes, you
one
you
round.
also did as well.
I didn't notice.
Ah.
And right now I'm just doing it out of spite because she refuses to tell me her name herself.
While you guys are rolling, Necro and Rana, are you doing anything while you're on the quarterdeck? Or, I mean, yeah, you're both on the quarterdeck.
Well, I'm up near the ballistas.
Yeah, that's true.
Pro-
Still technically the quarterdeck, though.
Yeah, I'm
Still
not-
close to it.
I'm probably just chilling, maybe doing a little meditating, maybe fidgeting with my knives, something
Okay.
like that.
Are you going into
You guys hang out
like a
with
deep
Leroy.
meditation?
Is it daytime?
It's about midday.
Then probably not.
Okay. What about you, Rana?
She's actually probably gonna head back into the kitchen by Fulgrim
Okay.
since he hasn't really moved much.
Hey, drinking can be rough.
It can when you're a lightweight.
Wrecked.
Well, he is a gnome.
You easily can walk back into the kitchen, and you see that most of the unseen servants continue to clean up a lot of the breakfast and the meal that was served, and you see Thulgrim kind of just now like sitting down back onto the ground with Bugger. Bugger looking a lot more lively and kind of just like excitedly kind of sits up and meets your hand when you walk by to kind of like it kind of wants pets and kind of puts its head like underneath your hand.
And I pet him.
He kind of nestles into your palm for a bit as he kind of baz very quietly towards you, and then kind of looks over at Thulgrim as he's kind of like rubbing his face and getting a little bit of the bloodshot and headache away, and kind of easing his mind as he gulps down some more water as Bugger turns and starts chewing more onto his beard. As the dice continue to roll, I think that's a good place to stop for today.
Okay.
I like the conversation between the players. It was very lovely.
I think my favorite part was when Bugger went beep beep.
That was also my favorite part.
Classic Bugger.
Classic.
Yeah, that's definitely Bugger's slogan.
I think we need to make a Bugger shirt.
Yeah, we do. We gotta all wear it every Tuesday.
I would wear it with pride.
I wouldn't take it off.
Never.
Gross.
Trent, I need to do the laundry. No!
Beep beep.
Not the Bugger shirt.
You wash me and the Bugger shirt together then.
We're one, okay? When you take it off, it just stands on its own.
Ew.
No, you're taking it
Not
off.
even that. It doesn't even come off. It's like where your hair starts to grow through it and weave into it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
All right.
Peace.
I mean, I've seen some nasty shit, but I've
I'm
never
gonna
seen
end
that
stream
yet.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Listening to the
torture
radio
people, and
I
that's
heard about that.
disgusting.